here. Oh, hey, honey. Good evening. How we all doing? Seagulls are here, as usual. Got some dolls to do. Cut it down a little bit, but still gonna have a good, half hour of that. 86 Bandle's gonna be hard. Ooh. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I also recorded a deck tech for my deck earlier, so I'm gonna probably put that up on YouTube. I think that'll do well. Hi, Suzu. Hi, Shira. Hello, hello. All right. So, 1986, 129 million, so fairly popular. Hard. The Freon Sylvie? Hell yeah. Oh, this is some banging on a trash can. You saw Dracula? There's a Dracula movie? No, it was a play. Oh, okay. Apparently there's a Dracula movie coming out, though. It says... No, that was 70s, right? No. Hit me. Miss Annie? What the hell is this? Definitely know this. Oh.
Hello there.
No. Drink some water. Okay. DK rap? That's a good guess. How was it not? Give me. I was going for par here. That's what I was doing up here. What is done? Isn't that Back in Black? How do I propose to my girlfriend of 5 years? Only you know the answer to that. Walk this way. That's it. Hey, Shiro. How's it going? That's the one. Saved par by chat's help. Yeah, I can't help you with that, Shrek. I'm sorry. But I know however you choose to do it, you got it. $10? No. Oh, God. This is one of those... I just wanted a Pepsi songs. Is this you? Wow. You. What is this? Stoner rock? Limp Bizkit. I am not a Fred Burst. I am going to propose to her and give you the news once I come back. BRB. That might be top 10 chat messages of all time. sounds a little hasty, but you know, best of luck. I don't know, Limp Bizkit. Nookie. Yeah, you got me. Wordle. Well, someone talked about weddings, so how about bride? That's not a good sign. Hatch. Okay. A. T. Nope. So it's got to be P blank A C H. Thatch? That's not how you spell thatch. That also doesn't seem right. Blank T-A-C-H. Itachi. Itachi. Uchiha. P blank A-C-H. A-T blank C-H. Attack. Rysair? I can't. Oh, the A can't go there. There's an E too? Oh. Oh. I also did that. Okay, acted. That looks like Ian McKellen. But would he be this low? That also kind of doesn't look like Ian McKellen. X-Men. Is that the McCamey Manor guy? Because that's the other person I think it was. Not Ian McKellen. Reginald Vell Johnson. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Is this the Whale? Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman. Oh, Die Hard. Hell yeah. Paul Gleason. Crossword me. That didn't look like Alan Rickman. Well, it's Snape. Yeah. Probably XCC album with lime green color. All the Rage. Please. Like presents and their first names. Where fig leaves first came into fashion. Eden. Rain-friendly rental for an outdoor wedding. The one walking in front of a train. Bird in Poe poem. Raven. Worker at an airport gate. Agent. Teenager's age, maybe. N? Brat. Bride. Hence. Given. Ugh. Oh, I didn't grab connections. Pastel pool, suntan, sculpture print. Did the proposal guy come back yet? No. Also, last time I was streaming at this hour, that person said it was 3 a.m. their time. I don't know. Pastel print, third, alloy. Sculpture. Open, neon, alloy, lottery, drawing, raffle. No shot. Print. Open. Pastel, neon, grayscale, neutral. Types of colors. Evan. Sculpture. Suntan. New. Open. Third. Third watch. Third rock. Save. Suntan oil. Suntan. Print, sculpture, alloy. New. Suntan, sculpture. Print. Alloy. One away. I'm gonna die. Sculpture, print, alloy, third. Open, save, new, suntan. That doesn't seem right. Let's just see it. File menu options and what bronze might mean. I hate it here. I hate Connect. Nerge. 48 divided by 3 is 16. Minus 9 equals 7. Okay, it's a one-digit number at the end, and it's minus something. But it is not divided by. So it probably has to be like 19 minus 8 minus... It's 11. 5 equals 6. Not a minus either. 1. So we got to do like 18 plus 1 minus 9 equals 9. That can't be right. N plus 7 minus 8 equals 9. Boom. Pledge. Movie to movie. Descendants 3 to the never-ending story. Holy. Everyone knows Boo Boo Stewart, right? Who's like... not a child actor in this. I might have to go deep on this one. This is gonna be rough. He's in Grown Ups, so we can go through Adam Sandler. Never-ending Story. We got to get to... Oh, Oppie? Dude, I don't know how we get anywhere in here. So we can go Grown Ups. Dude, like, nobody's in this movie. We got to go with the lead. What's the lead in? Tom Holland's Twisted Tales. Okay, is this Tom Holland? Tom Holland? No. "50 worst movies ever made." Is Jack and Jill in this? Wait, but Ed Wood was in that. Ed Wood. Is Ed Wood in Ed Wood? No. That's Tom Selleck from Friends. Is he in anything? That's Burt Reynolds. Never mind. Wait, Burt Reynolds is in Adam Sandler flicks, right? Burt Reynolds is in Adam Sandler flicks. He has to be. Longest Yard, Adam Sandler, Grown Ups. That kid. He was bigger than that. Maybe Grown Ups 1. That's his kid in Grown Up. There he is. And then Descendants 3. Got it in 4. Finally got Adam Sandler. He was in Grown Ups 2. Yeah, I just missed him. Could have went with Dan Payne, Star Trek Beyond, Deep Roy, The Never-Ending Story. Okay, I wasn't getting that, obviously. Box office game, 92, December 92, holidays. Columbia Pictures, 11 mil, middling second week. Tom Cruise, 92. Top Gun? Not Top Gun Danger Zone. Tom Cruise, 92. In the heart of the nation's capital, the courthouse theater discovered 1 million stubborn nothing keeps honor. Oh, is this A Few Good Men? Yep, this movie rules. Walt Disney, 92 Disney. Seems a little early for The Lion King. Mermaid? Aladdin? Oh, yeah. Yeah, too early for The Lion King. Yeah, Lion King was like 94, 95. We got huge movie. This has been in the theaters 5 weeks. Macaulay Culkin. Has to be Home Alone 2? Yeah. Was Mermaid 80s? Little Mermaid. 89, it was. Yeah. Warner Bros. First 5 mil, 6 mil total. This is its 6th week. What the hell happened? It got pulled off the shelves for 5 weeks. So that means it came back for Christmas. Mel Gibson. It's not The Passion, right? It can't be. Oh, he's not in that. Never mind. What's Gibson in besides Braveheart? This doesn't seem like Braveheart. Time waits for no man, but true love waits forever. This Highlander? They're making a second Aladdin. Oh, Passion 2. That's yeah, that's right. Mel Gibson and Jamie Lee Curtis. A 1939 test pilot asks his best friends to use him as a guinea pig for cryogenics experiment. Daniel McCormick wants to be frozen for a year so he doesn't have to watch his love lying in a coma. The next thing Daniel knows, he's been awoken in 1992. I don't think 1939 cryogenics was more than just like, we are going to kill you and freeze you to death. Forever Young. Never heard of it. Warner Bros. 5 mil with Kevin Costner. Never let her out of your sight. Never let your guard down. Never fall in love. All these romance. Oh, duh. Lol. Give me Yorick. Nothing about him is. It's a mana champion released more recent than 2011, and female or not gendered. Girl with mana. Give me. Let's go like deep. Let's go Nyla. Female bottom with mana. Irelia. Female bot. Oh, human. Not human. Not human. Female bottom with mana. Not human. Female bottom with mana. Now, bottom means 80 carry. Senna's human, right? Oh, they just call Senna a support. Character is definitely not a bottom. 80 carry with mana. Female 80 carry with mana. It's not human. Female 80 carry. I wish I could have just had an easier way to look at the history of the champions. Or like all the champions. Is it a Yordle? Yordle 80 carry? There's Trist, but she came out release. Alright, you know the drill. I mean, we'll find it. I think there's probably only one that fits the bill. Irelia. Pantheon. Zaya? Zaya makes a lot of sense. Verge arrive? Yeah. Nice. Oh, I was born to ruffle feathers. Oh, okay, never mind. Quote, ugh, I lost another blade. I wonder who it's in this time. Is that Cat? Irelia? No, I think it's Talon. Yeah. This is upside down. This is Poppy. She's in the image. This is her E. Soldier. Pantheon. Gift Soldier. Right? Raven, I don't know. Helicopter. Can I clarify the first emote? Does it have... Oh, is it a pilot? Oh, the package. Yeah, yeah, Corky. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Flash. This is Belveth. This is default. Ding. Wait. I'm not allowed to know Belveth? She deeps beneath the lasers. Pokidoku. Fire grass. Oh god. Weedmon? Like... Oh god. Galar? Oh no. Wait. We can go Ogre Pawn. He's not Galar. Electric Grass. Okay, hold on. Rock Fire is Torkoal. Okay. Rock Galar is Golem Galar. We got Onyx Galar. Electric Rock is Magneto. Monotype Fire, you already know. We got Entei. Galar Fire. Can you please just give me Galar when I type it? Electric Monotype. How about Pachirisu? Okay. That's probably all we're getting today, folks. Is there like Volcano Man? I mean, Volcanoian has to be Fire Rock, right? Why wouldn't it be? Weedge. Fire Grass. Hot Blade. Burn Bush. Burning Bush. Volcanoian is fire water. Mate, channeling analysis. I don't know what else to do. Grass electric. Blanca. You're trubbish at this. Trubbish is, of course, grass electric. Trubbish is, of course, grass rock or fire. Trubbish is, of course, rock fire. I give up. Macargo, of course. Iron Thorns. Oh, Belly Bolt's back. Sandacondia. Flapple, of course. Ogrepawn is Firegrass, which is really funny because the first thing I went to was Ogre. There's literally two. Scovillain. Scovillain is kind of cool. Guess the game. Wind Waker. Grim Fandango. Animal Crossing. I don't know. I'm good, man. Tier away? Whatever. NFL. 5-time Pro Bowlers. Defensive player. Adams. After breaking the curse in 2004, the Red Sox won another title by sweeping this team in the 2007 World Series. I think it was the Yankees. Borussia Dortmund is a professional sports club and soccer team based in what country? Germany. Hey. Did you see that Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be in Fatal Fury? Or the Garo game? I don't know how I feel about that. As of 2017, there were more than 600 Sephora locations inside of this chain of department stores. Kohl's. What? Macy's. This is... Me IRL. Cameron Diaz, which is wrong. And that's, is that Steve Zahn? Nope. Snacks and candy, that's rich. Payday. Nope. 100 grand. Pied Piper, Hooli, and Aviato are names of companies from this Emmy-nominated HBO comedy series. Oh, is this, this is Silicon Valley. Movie. Jim Carrey and Zooey Deschanel starred in this rom-com, but we had this one. Yes, man. I've been saying that they would add Messi, but yeah, no, I was surprised. Like, I mean, I guess that's the only field he hasn't branched into to, like, get more money. But he had a thing going. I think it was Ronaldo, I think, but it might have been Messi. But it was Ronaldo who was going for like $1 billion across all socials. And that really made me realize how much Instagram dwarfs every other social platform that has like a followers model. His Instagram was like 460 million, and all of his other socials together were getting him to like the billion. It might have even been more skewed than that. Like the Instagram might have been half, like 500 million plus on Instagram. And I had no idea that Instagram was like that much bigger than like other platforms. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Under the Bridge. It's the city I live. JCPenney. Okay, we both got it wrong. I only ever see Sephora and Kohl's personally, but okay. Celebrity Anna Faris and Colin Firth. Yep. I see it after I know the answer. Framed. Drink. This is The Big Lebowski. This is an awesome movie. This is not Inception. There's no way. This is James Bond. This is this Scott? Not Scott. Is this Scott Pilgrim? Is this Hollow Man? Oh, this is that lottery movie. The movie where Bryan Cranston plays the lottery. Argyle? What was the name of the... It's like Bob and Marie play the lottery. Something like that. I see this on my YouTube shorts all the time with the Sigma music in the background. You win if you play all the tickets. I don't know the name of it, but it's that movie. It's not, is it? Oh, it's Argyle. What's Argyle? Oh, I saw the trailer for this. This looked good. I don't know if it's good or not based on all this. Cool. That is way too big a Myrtle for me to do today. Thrice. Gran Torino, Action Jackson, and Mr. Mom are three very different movies set in around what major U.S. city? Milwaukee. That's not how you spell that. A gigantic statue of Joe Louis first hovers over Hart Plaza in what Great Lakes burg? Cleveland. Berry Gordy ran a jazz music and 3D glasses shop, as one does, before founding Motown Records in what city? What's the home of Motown? Detroit? Yeah. With the 1928 Journal, 20 hours, 40 minutes. What if I told you she was played by Hilary Swank in a 2009 biopic? And she was the first... Oh. Amelia Earhart. Earhart. Come on, bro. It's... Come on. Rest in peace, Amelia Earhart. What maker of Kinder Eggs was founded in the Southern Europe? Oh, this is, Oh my god, I can see the logo, but I don't know the name of it. Nutella is the best-selling product of what... Is it Ghirardelli? Rocher Ferrero? Yeah. Play the video? What video? Did you send me a video? One-minute video. Wait, this looks awesome. Hold on. Oh, hold on. It's blowing up my PC. Hold on. Did you send me a virus? It's blowing up my PC. Okay, we fixed it. I'll play the video in a second. Actually, we'll play the video now. This face. Wait, this is incredible. Oh, I have another video, actually, I can put up after this one. Oh my gosh. I knew it was coming and I got owned. That's not a shark. That was a good one. I got another video that I could put up. This one had me, I'm not terribly proud to admit it, but this one had me, like, cry laughing while I was watching it. Okay, hold on. How do I get it up on the screen in a good manner? Can I pop it out? Picture in picture? No, hold on. We gotta... This is so good. It's so stupid. Hold on. Let me find a good way to get it up on the screen. Can I go to the tweet, please? Okay, yeah, noise warning, obviously. The tweet says... The tweet says how it feels like closing at work and then having plans to go out immediately afterwards. A noise warning. I don't know what game this is from. Send me a video, yeah. Alright, we got video hour. It's Tomb Raider? Hell yeah. Do-it-yourself bird proofing. Can I full screen this? Probably not. Okay, well, whatever. Bird proofing. Bird proofing. Birds arrive. Wait, what is? Oh, okay. So they like to hang out on top of the doors. Oh. Grab the bird's head. Oh, cute birds. What number represents the charge of a Higgs boson? 1. What number represents the charge on an electric neutrino? -1. You have trouble trying to divide by what number? Great. We're crushing this one, let me tell you. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson once palled up for a 1786 tour of England's most picturesque... What? Baths. Kin to Jackie Onassis, a fading mother-daughter pair, both named Edith Bale, starred in a 70s documentary, Grey... What? Garden? Oh, it was. Nice. 5 points. 30%. You love to see it. All right, last one. Food guesser. You got these... Rice, flour, sugar, coconut milk, pandan leaves, food coloring. Rice, flour, and coconut milk? I don't know. Indonesia. Nailed it. So the tech that I learned from Northern Lion is if you want to say India, never say India, say Indonesia because it's always Indonesia. This looks like cabbage, like corned beef and cabbage. Lamb, onions, potato. Oh, it's lamb. Bell peppers, tomato, water. This is a traditional meat and veggie dish. It's a popular dish among the nomadic tribes in the region due to simplicity and ease of preparation. Nomadic tribes lamb. Can I get... I still want to say, like, Ireland or Scotland. A whole ass clove of garlic. It is. North... It's just east of Ireland. Is this like... Is it Russian? Borders Russia. Ukraine? Warm. So borders Russia the other way. No, it borders Russia to the west. I don't know. Is this like an Albania angle? Nope. I don't even know where Albania is, apparently. I don't know what's over there. Literally 4 correct answers, and I picked none of them. Just one of the stands. Yeah, borders Russia. Very pog. I was thinking borders Russia over here because it said west. But apparently it was just talking about Russia's center of gravity. This is girl dinner. Chocolate on bread. Location, my kitchen. Chocolate, sugar, cocoa, butter, soy, lecithin, vanilla, cocoa. This dish simply tosses up breakfast items with a delightful crunch, especially on bread. Made from unique chocolate flakes. It's fairy bread, Australia. It was not an Australian accent. Ice cold. I feel like because they said lecithin, it's probably like, I want to say like Mexico. Ice cold. Canada? Cold. North. It's still north of Canada. England? Hot. It's southeast of UK. Iceland? Netherlands. We got owned today. We got a 69.75, so we are over here. 2 standard deviations away from the mean again. I feel like some people probably cheat on that. I don't know. That's just me. All right. It's time. We are within striking distance of the end of episode 7. We are going to finish episode 7 tonight, probably. We are not going to be able to do the tea party. The tea party for episode 7 is by itself 4 hours long. So the tea party will probably be tomorrow. But we're going to get to the end of episode 7 tonight. We have about 3 hours before we're there. So, yeah, it's a long tea party. Let's get it. It is indeed a very long tea party. I'm sure a lot happens. Okay. Chapter 7. Sprout of Love, Root of Love. One year later, 1982. 4 years until the incident. Hey, TJ. Thank you for the head pat. Seriously? Why do you guys turn into total morons when they... Why do guys turn into total morons when they get together? Jessica's room was filled with laughter. It was one hell of a reality check. I thought this guy was a bit cool, a bit adult-like. And then I see him with some of the other guys in class, talking about dirty stuff with this creepy laugh. It's true that boys always act like little kids when they're together. Well, it's not like girls are any different. The fun chat between girls continued without end. Tonight, Kraus and Natsuki were out late on a meeting in Nijima. Most of the time, Natsuki was always watching, so Jessica would always make sure to be curt with the young servants. But when Natsuki wasn't around, Jessica never did that. She had invited the servants of similar age to her room, and they were chatting away noisily. You leave for a trip tomorrow? No, I shouldn't. Is that what the what's up says? I should have fixed that. More spoilers. Storm agreed. Yeah, no. No trip tomorrow. Older post? Oh, yeah. Well, I was at a regional this past weekend, so I had left last week. That age, everyone wants to know about love. Thanks to the rigid and constructing ways Jessica had been brought up, she enjoyed talking about it all the more. But you're pretty incredible, milady. And you're that age. Aren't there any boys you're interested in? Well, I'd like to fall in love, but there really aren't any good ones around. I think you should be a bit more proactive about it. You cannot act all relaxed now, but that's not going to last long, okay? Once one of your friends starts going out with someone, it'll turn your world upside down. There's no way that'll happen. None of my friends are traitors, I think. No. The outbreak of love is the one time you can't rely on friendship between girls. If you met someone you liked, you'd betray your friends and go out with the guy without a second thought, wouldn't you? What about you, Shannon? It's not fair if I'm the only one who has to talk. I, don't have anyone like that around. Not around. Aw. He's far, far away, and like Orihime and Hikiboshi, I don't get to see him very often. Who, I made it? Good Sunday? Yeah, you just made it. We just got started. In fact, I don't even know when I'll be able to see him again. However, I believe that he'll come for me someday. I believe it. Don't you betray me, okay, Shannon? If we get boyfriends, we'll get them together. You got that? Right? We promised, right? Well, you might not believe it, but it's not at all rare for girls like Shannon to get a head start. Shannon. Confess. You aren't going out with anyone, are you? You aren't, right? Not really. Really? Really? We'll get boyfriends together, okay? No matter what happens, okay? Anyone who lies has to eat porcupine fish. Yeah, I promise. Now there's the face of a liar. I'm willing to bet Shannon beats everyone else in this room. I can tell. It's always the quiet ones that go first. Shannon, how could you? Confess, come on, confess. Please stop, my lady. That tickles. And so another Sunday afternoon passed by. I worked my way out of the fight and looked up at the sky through the window. Is Battler happily chatting away with his friends somewhere right now, just like I am? As I think of you like this, are you just thinking of me? But if I ask that, it's the same as admitting that I don't trust you. I'll wait, and when you do come for me, I'll announce then and there that I'm quitting my job. I've already prepared myself to do so. But you haven't come yet. This isn't because you won't come, but because I'm not determined enough yet, right? It's because I haven't clearly envisioned a future with you, right? I'll wait, no matter how long, until you come for me riding a white horse. I will always treasure our promise. The promise of our precious resolve. Never make a promise with a guy. You can't count on them. Thinking that she had read my mind, I spun around. Of course she hadn't, but... well, for stuff like that, I think guys and girls have different ideas of what's important. No, that's not it. You got it all wrong. On the whole, girls tend to be dreamers, and guys just do stuff without thinking. I guess understanding between the sexes is pretty much impossible after all. At least, I think it's pretty hard. Girls often have the bad habit of thinking they know exactly what the guy is thinking right away. They search for hidden meanings behind words that guys say for no reason in particular, and just get a wrong idea. Yeah. I've known girls like that. Those girls who hear something that anyone else could tell them was trivial, but think it means the guy is totally into them. Yeah, I see it all the time. It's a bit sad when a girl gets the wrong idea for no reason. Haha. The pair of them laughed together. When a girl gets the wrong idea? Could that be me? No, that can't be. After all, Battler clearly made a promise. He said he'd come for me riding a white horse. I mustn't doubt. I'm sure this conversation I'm hearing is just another one of God's trials. So I won't listen. I won't care about it. If there's one thing I never want to be, it's one of those poor girls who think a guy's heart is linked to hers for no reason. Man. These demonic sneers tormented me and tried to lead me astray. I'm sure he'll come in the next family conference. Yeah, Shannon's not gonna take this well. It makes me want to go back and see what the first thing Shannon said when Battler came back to the conference was. But Battler didn't appear in the 1982 conference either. Bit by bit, things were changing from the way they'd been at the last family conference he'd come to. Everyone had gotten completely used to Kiri, Rudolph's new wife, and she came down off the boat with a familiar stride. Her daughter, Angie, was growing well, and all of the family focused their attention on her. Even Maria, though she was still tiny, was already 5 years old. She was full of energy and old enough to enjoy playing with George. Jessica and George had already stopped talking about Battler's absence. It was the same with the other relatives, too. No one touched the subject, as though they had forgotten that Battler was missing. Maria had only been 3 when she'd last seen Battler. It was doubtful whether she even remembered him. In just 2 years, all trace of your existence has been erased from the Ushiromiya family conference. That made me sad. And so it looks like Battler didn't come back this year either. True. Feeling a bit lonely? Oh, come on, George, dude. Uncle Rudolph and Aunt Kiri don't even bring him up anymore. It looks like Battler was much more serious about it than we thought. I wonder if he really will stay away forever. It looks like this was him leaving the nest after all. He spread his wings and left for a new stage of life. Don't you think so? He's always been crazy and reckless. Well, what more would you expect from a guy? Well, we know Battler. I'm sure he's adapted to his new life and enjoying himself. So, I don't think there's any reason to worry. When George said that with a smile, I felt a bit uncertain. What does he mean by, there's no reason to worry? I'm sure he's enjoying himself. This is Battler we're talking about. You can bet he's forgotten all about us and having a great time. Yeah, I'll bet he is. And I think it's for the best. Thinking for himself, his family, and his late mother, Battler decided on his own to find a new life. So I hope he lives that new life to the fullest. If he forgets about the Yushirumiya family, that's just perfect. George smiled at me, as though expecting me to agree. After a moment of shock, I smoothed my expression over and found the expression he was expecting. Is Battler living happily? Having forgotten about the family, about me, about our promise. That can't be true. It just can't be. Battler must be looking forward to that day of decision, just like me. I'm not mistaken about that. He promised me. He said he'd come riding a white horse. I never asked him to say that. He said he'd come for me on the day I resolved myself to live life for his sake. He made that promise himself. For 2 years, I've believed that. I've done all I could to make it through God's trials and the whisperings of demons that tried to throw me from my path. And yet, the things both George and Jessica are saying are so cruel. Battler has forgotten about us and has started a new life? Why are they telling such lies? But that night, I dreamed of Battler for the first time in a long while. Battler in my dream wasn't the Battler I believed in. It was the Battler that George and Jessica had spoken of. Wait, he said he wouldn't come until she resolves to only live for his sake? That is what she said. But I wonder if that's means like live for her own sake. But I don't exactly remember their conversation, but it was something to that effect. The one who had forgotten everything and started a new life. Morning. I woke up with a tear-stained face. The face I saw in the mirror cried and told me it couldn't wait any longer. If I've managed to wait this long, why can't I wait any longer? This is a trial, so we must believe in him and wait. But the me in the mirror spoke. It was sharper than a fragment of glass. I talk about this promise with him, but did we ever really make such a promise? Wasn't Jessica talking about it? That some girls are dreamers who get the wrong idea? And wasn't George talking about it too? He said that Battler has gotten used to his new life and had forgotten about the Yushirumiya family. And by now, he isn't the only one who's forgotten. Unless I ask about it, everyone on this island has forgotten his name. Even Rudolph doesn't say his name anymore. If I weren't here to remember his face, perhaps his existence would have been erased from everyone's hearts. I don't believe it, so I won't doubt. Battler must still remember his promise. We're both waiting for the day of decision. The day we'll be together. Battler, I firmly made up my mind. Does the fact that you're not here mean that after all, I'm not determined enough? A thought is crossing my mind that I wonder if Battler ever actually returned to the family conference. In the 6 years later, maybe Shannon finally... No, because all the cousins were interacting with him and stuff. But we have such an unreliable narrator. No. It's because you and God are testing me, isn't it? The reason I say that is because of the 17 people on the island. Like, who is the person who's not there? Probably Canon, but like, we haven't seen Canon get introduced yet. Didn't he interact with some of the non-witch people? Yes, but literally every interaction is unreliable. In that case, I will endure, unless it's said in red. Until that promised day inevitably comes. So please, Battler, I want some proof that you have forgotten me. You haven't forgotten me. It was the crack that ran across my ceramic-like heart. I had to acknowledge it now. It may be that I'm pretending not to notice something terrifying and sad. Battler makes me yearn for him. Battler makes me sad. Battler makes it hurt. Battler, do you still remember me now? He has to go through 4 more years of this to 1 year later. 83. And then came the third family conference since Battler left. If the number of beds was going to increase, we would have been told about it while setting up. The fact that nothing changed in particular means he probably won't be here this year either. Clinging to a final bit of hope, I stood by the docks, watching the boat draw closer. Hey, Shannon. You're looking as pretty as ever. Careful, Angie. Watch your step.
Yeah,
Hey, Shannon. Ah, I really do love Rokkenjima. I can't wait for Uncle Kraus to turn it into a resort. There's no need for that. It'd be such a waste. You got a point there. How have you been, Shannon? I think you've gotten a bit taller since last time. Thank you. And the weather's good again this year. It's so great having every single member of the family together, all nice and cheerful. Please allow me to guide you to the mansion. So after all, Balor had been so thoroughly forgotten that he might not have existed in the first place. I'm pretty sure the sadness will show on my face. Not wanting anyone to see it, I turned my back to the family and led the way up the mansion by myself. Then suddenly, someone mentioned Balor's name, and I jumped. What? You saw Balor? How's he doing? Yeah, he's doing very well. I took Angie and had some tea with him the other day. I was surprised. So, Kiri was in touch with Balor. According to her, both Balor and Rudolph had long since calmed down after their fight. But both were so stubborn that they hadn't found a good chance to make up. And since Balor had gotten used to living with his grandparents and going to school there, and considering that those grandparents might make things even more difficult, going to convince Balor to come home would not be easy. It's just too bad. I think Asuma's parents were even more angry than Balor was. This isn't just an issue between Balor and Rudolph anymore. Then, will Balor be coming back sometime soon? He will make up with Rudolph, but it looks like he doesn't intend to return to the family. Such a shame, though I do understand how he feels. It was a bit of relief to hear that some of the bad feeling had died down in those 3 years. If we take Asuma's parents into account, it's no surprise that things haven't gone as well as they could. But if Balor doesn't hate Rudolph anymore, then someday, surely he'll come back. He'll have grown so much. My resolve will not waver anymore. For some nights these past 3 years I felt sad and resentful, but now, it feels as though those 3 years were something I needed. After all, the seeds of love, the faint feelings I once had for you, have budded powerfully, waiting for the day that we'll be reunited. That's how honest my feelings are for you now. That's how honest my feelings for you are now. I love you. I want to see you again as soon as I can. Until that time, I'll keep that bud of love warm and growing for you. I won't doubt the coming of that day anymore. Just as I think of you under the same sky, I believe that you are thinking of me. I'm sure this news about him is a sign that God is cheering me on. So, I asked God one more time inside my head. Since my feelings for Balor have not wavered for a day these past 3 years, let me know that he feels the same way. I know that asking for that is a sin. However, now that we've reached the 3-year turning point, I want some gift from God, any gift, to show that I've not waited in vain. That is what I prayed. Why is slow mode on in my chat? Turn it off. I go /slow off. Might have just been a bug.
Oh,
that's right. It's been so long since Balor last saw you all, right?
I thought you might be feeling lonely, so I told him to write you letters. Here they are.
Huh? Did God really hear my prayers? I felt as though my heart was going to leap out of my chest. A letter from Balor. Awesome. What did he write? Did he say anything about how he's been doing lately? I can't wait to read it. Kiri pulled a brown envelope out of her bag and handed it to George. Just one? When George opened it, several folded letters came out. Looks like this one's addressed to me. They all have different names on them. Yeah, this one's yours, Jessica.
Thank you.
And this one's for Maria. Can she read yet? I'll read it to her later. Thank you. There's even one for Angie. Now, of course, she can't read. I'll give it to her when she does learn. It says he's doing great and having a blast. Good for him. No message for Shannon? Is that all of them? Yep. Looks like that's all of them. Thanks a lot. George handed me the empty envelope. Apparently, he thanked me because he thought I was offering to throw it away for him. Oh no, my heart. And clearly there was nothing inside it. There was no letter for me. Whoa, the more I read, the more fun it looks like Balor's been having. Living every day to the fullest. That's what it looks like in mine too. If he's happy, then I guess that's what counts. That's so mean of Battler. Sounds like he forgot about us until you told him to write those letters, Kiri. Well, you know what he's like. Sounds like he was living life to the fullest. And I hear he's popular with the ladies at school, too. Wow, that's incredible. There should be plenty of girls who like those hilarious, melodramatic lines of his. Makes sense to me. I wonder if he really does plan to not return to the Ushiromiya family. Looks like it. In mine, he says he doesn't think he'll return to Rokkenshima again. And he totally didn't send a message to Shannon. That sucks. I knew that all these letters were trials from God. The fact that there was no letter for me, and the fact that he was enjoying life and had forgotten about Rokkenshima, were just more trials. God is testing me. The fact that there was no letter for me alone is proof of that. That's what I want to think, but now it's just too much. Might have been an important promise to you, but it looks like it wasn't for Battler. No way. Then the promise about him coming for you was... It was a dreamer. I was a dreamer. It was just an illusion that I created. To Battler, they were probably just meaningless words to make him sound cool. To anyone but her, it would have been such a funny story to hear. That promise when Battler might have been an illusion the whole time. In the first place, we don't know if they both felt the same way about each other at all. Love is an illusion. However, if both sides are seeing the same illusion, that love becomes true. That's a powerful line. However, when the feelings of each side are different, then it is nothing more than a joke. This is Battler's sin, making Shannon think that it was a promise. Wrong. Huh? It's that he didn't even remember. Nope. If he simply broke his promise, I could have taken him to task for it. I could have regretted my mistake, or I could have won him back. However, you can't question someone about something they don't even remember. I am unable to hate Battler. After all, Battler didn't even break his promise. There just wasn't a promise to begin with. It was nothing more than a sad joke. I kept on crying and crying. I dug my fingernails into the pillow, soaking it with my tears. How much easier would it be to hate something? But I can't hate anything. I just couldn't get over my miserable arrogance, which had led me to believe for 3 whole years that he felt the same as I did. Aww. I am to blame for this. My irresponsible words led you to believe that Battler made a promise. No, this isn't anyone's fault. It's all because I assumed that he felt the same way I did. Battler made no promise, and yet his feelings were surely sincere. Though there might have been a difference in degree when compared to yours. It's true that he liked you. Of that there can be no doubt. Please, just stop. I've believed that he liked me the way I liked him, without ever doubting that. Please don't try to cheer me up. I'd rather that you mocked me. Before I knew it, a dull, inescapable pain had pierced my chest. When I pressed my hand against my chest, I realized what that pain was. It was the bud of love whose seeds I had sown and nurtured in my heart. Its roots spread all the way across my chest, tormenting me like a metal wire wrapped around my heart. They looked less like roots and more like fissures running through my heart. I can only hold back the pain by tearing out the root of love. But no matter how much I scratched at it, I'm only scratching at my chest. The root of love doesn't move at all. If I started hating Battler without any lingering interest or regrets, I'd be able to pull this root out easily. Once I did, it would probably leave a hole behind, but at least it wouldn't hurt me anymore. But I can't pull it out. Even though it hurts so much, these roots of love are still stuck in my heart. Shannon, even now I love Battler. I want to see him. I want him to come back. I believe he will come back someday, and I want to wait for him. But right now, it's just too much. As I sobbed, the tightness in my chest grew even stronger. As long as I like Battler, the pain will always continue. Because I like him, I want to hold on to that pain forever. But it was written right there in the letters for George and the others. Battler does not plan on returning to the Ushiromiya family. He's forgotten about me in Rokonjima, and has started a new life with a different name. I must wait for him for all eternity, despite how painful, aching, excruciating this is. Is this another trial? Is God telling me to wait for him forever? I can't do that. I want to be with Battler, but if this is the trial that I must go through for that, it's too painful. Yeah, Shannon, it's hard, but you have to move forward. Beatrice hung her head in shame. If she hadn't encouraged Shannon so much, it probably wouldn't have been this painful. Shannon may have been the one to sow the seed of love in her heart, but Beatrice had irresponsibly watered it and told Shannon not to give up. Beatrice scratched at her chest, trying to share Shannon's pain. This is my fault. Beatrice mumbled to herself. What's your fault? For 3 years, I tortured you with the illusion of a promise that never happened. Yeah, I mean, for sure, Beato blames herself in a lot of ways for this, too. If I had not nourished the bud of love within you, you would not have suffered so. Because in a lot of ways, Beatrice is like Shannon's guardian inside herself, like a defense mechanism, a coping mechanism. So Beatrice is highly protective and defensive of Shannon. Shannon, this may sound harsh, but listen. What is it? Forget Battler. There was no bud of love in the first place. No, I'm the one who nourished it. No matter how painful it is, I can't just forget it. But you cannot bear that pain any longer, can you? Wordlessly, Shannon held her chest and hung her head. I love Battler. That feeling burns inside me, so that I still cannot let it go no matter how much it hurts. And I've spent 3 years pretending that I didn't feel that pain. Now I know that I feel it, and since I know, I can't bear it. So you cannot throw away your bud of love for Battler? Yes. However, at this rate, the root will kill you. People need a universe to survive, and one person cannot create that universe alone. 2 are needed. A universe? Together with Battler, you created the universe of that bud of love. Now that one half of that pair is gone, your universe has crumbled. People cannot complete a universe on their own. However, Battler, the other person who creates my universe, won't come back. Then you must create a new universe with someone else. You mean create one with someone other than Battler? I will give you such a person. Which? A creature to bury the pain in your heart and heal you. He will not betray you. Yes. Let it be a sibling. Oh. I will give you a little brother. So Canon and Shannon are one. A little brother. A boy you have always been close to at the Fukuen house, whom you love as if he were your real brother. That I shall give to you. Together with him you will create a new universe. Will that little brother make me forget about the pain of love for Battler? Correct. You need a universe. Then what will happen to the bud of love in my heart? My feelings for Battler won't change. I can't make them wither. I shall accept that bud and those roots in your place. Oh, she's compartmentalizing. You can forget the pain of love and create a new universe. I will accept the bud of love in your place. It means that I will accept the pain as well. But I will learn of the single element I do not possess. Love. Beatrice wanted to know love. She wanted to feel what Shannon had felt in the world of humans. And if Battler ever does return, if the bud still is not withered and you still desire it, I shall return it to you. What do you think of that? Still hanging her head, Shannon gave a small nod, but said nothing. It would mean release from this unbearable pain, and it would mean giving the bud of love to the witch to hold in her place. Shannon spread the hands that she had held to her chest, and she did. A faint light popped out of her chest and floated in the air, gradually swallowing everything with its brightness. As the brilliant light began to fade away, Shannon and Beatrice, still facing each other, were now inside a vast, starry sphere like a planetarium. They were the only ones in this pitch-black starry sea. Shannon felt as though she'd seen this place once before, but she couldn't remember. Then I made another announcement. Modify this world. Let the bud of love travel from Shannon to Beatrice. That way, Shannon won't be tormented by the bud of love anymore. And furthermore, she'll be given a little brother with whom she can create a new universe. The design for that little brother will be a younger boy at the Fukuen house, with whom Shannon was close. For a name, let there be an On character, as the Fukuen house rules state. Yeah, I've decided. That's a perfect name to go with Shannon's. He'll be a quiet, reticent boy. He'll come to Rokkenjima as a new servant. There, he'll open his heart to Shannon. As a duty-minded boy who loves Shannon like a big sister, he'll always be there for her. Let's have him be a special servant like Genji, who is permitted to serve Kinzo directly. Yeah, that sounds kinda cool. Then, Beatrice, from now on you will carry the bud of love. In other words, the role of being infatuated with Battler and waiting for his return will go to you. While you are still a witch who reigns over Rokkenjima's night, you have also been waiting for Ushiromiya Battler ever since that day 3 years ago. Along with this change in setting, I'll give you a new form as well. He did tell us what his ideal woman would look like once, remember? A woman with a good figure and long golden hair, like a foreign model. Golden hair, long hair, a good figure. Yeah, something like that. That's what the new Beatrice will look like. Come now, hold that bud of love in your heart as you wait for Battler. This way, you'll learn of love in exchange for earning pain. Yes, this will be the setting for my new world. For Shannon, a new servant like little brother will come. He will be a silent, reticent boy, a duty-minded kid who loves Shannon as a sister. And the bud of love that has tortured Shannon will go to the witch, Beatrice. She will just be holding onto the bud of love for the time being. However, while she holds on to it, she will be a maiden in love with Battler. For that time, you will be able to learn what love is. Come, let the world be modified. Oh, I am one yet many. Awaken, us, and stretch your wings in this new world. Whoa. So yeah, that scene in episode 6 laid this out perfectly. Shannon, Cannon, and Beatrice all exist inside Shannon. Slowly I opened my eyes to the gentle rays of the morning sun. How long has it been since I last saw such a pleasant morning? The face in the mirror is tear-stained and pathetic. However, my heart is as clear as the morning sun. I could still clearly remember that strange dream. However, I can feel myself forgetting it rapidly. The place I was in my dreams had been such a strange place. A peaceful, calm place. There, I had left behind the pain I had carried in my chest until yesterday. So this morning, my heart was at peace.
Ohayo.
Good morning, me. My tear-stained face really is pathetic. However, my expression is bright and cheery. Even now, I, like Battler, but for some reason, I've calmed down. It feels like I put something precious safely away in the place that it belongs. Battler, when will you come back, I wonder? When you do, I'd like to talk about mystery novels again. Oh, I almost forgot. A new boy servant will be coming today, right? One of the rare servants who will serve the master directly. What kind of kid will he be? I hope we get along well. What was his name again? I'm pretty sure it was, Anon. Whoa. Big. 1 year later. I'm going to take a short break, get some water, grab a snacky. I encourage you to do the same. Before I dip for a second, though, I really want to think about that scene in the first episode. I think it was the first episode. Cannon's body, like, reappeared in the kitchen after Cannon was supposedly dead. And then, like, lashed out and, like, attacked everybody who was in the kitchen. I feel like that was probably Shannon who, like, jumped out of the window or something to try to escape, landed outside, was all tattered up and ragged from it. And then, like, when Cannon died in the basement and there were no witnesses, that was probably Shannon shedding that persona. Or I guess Shannon would have been functioning as Cannon in that game, right? Because the Shannon of that game died pretty early. And then, you know what? I bet each of the stories, if we go back and tell it... I bet that's true. If we go back and go through each story and think about it a little bit, I bet some of the murders are more so Shannon, I'm going to call her Shannon, shedding the personas of Shannon and Cannon and trying to become... now that Battler's back, she wants to become Beatrice. She wants to become his perfect woman. And so she's shedding the personas of Shannon and Cannon. So a lot of times when Shannon or Cannon die in the story, that's her shedding that persona and killing it off inside herself. And she's the narrator, right? It's Beato's game for the first 4. So in those games, she's the narrator. Now, that said, she and Battler are second cousins. Obviously a little weird, but incest is no stranger of the Ushiromiya family, clearly. Yeah, I wonder, revisiting those scenes probably hits so much harder once you know this, and like you can really track who and what is happening. I find it hard to believe that people called this in early episodes, like, with evidence. I doubt there was I'm sure there's evidence, but I doubt there was terribly much evidence that you could posit that. But I'm sure it's consistent. Like, I have no doubt that it's consistent. But I've heard people say, I solved it in episode 3. Now, they might have said Shannon did it. But I find it hard to believe that you could be like, Shannon and Cannon are the same person. And yeah, now that you look at it in hindsight, I'm sure you could, you know, devise logic that's like, oh yeah, obviously. But in hindsight, it's so much easier to see. I think episode 6 makes it abundantly obvious. Like, I kind of had it in episode 6. And then this one is right in your face, obviously. Now the how is still a mystery, right? But I'm gonna go get that water and be right back, so sit tight. We got 2 more chapters or 3 more chapters tonight. Hand back. Wow, that was a fast 3 minutes. Here we go. Next chapter. See what happens. So now she's compartmentalized all of her feelings. Kind of like, I guess, to protect herself. And so her, you know, she's got her love for Battler, which is Beatrice. She's got her duty to the house, which is Canon. And then she's got herself. And then George is going to start to show interest soon, I think, right? It really makes me wonder why Battler forgot. Something must have happened on his end, and maybe that's what we learn about in the next episode. Men in work clothes were spreading a tarp over the section of the hall. From the way they measured the wall and set out tools, it could be seen that they were planning some sort of construction project. This is of the utmost importance to the master. Be sure that you do not damage it. The president of the construction company nodded his head several times to show that he understood. Then, 6 young workers carried in a large rectangular object wrapped in a white sheet. Okay, careful. Set her down gently. Gently! Is this the spot? Great. Let's get started. Apparently, they were putting something large onto the wall in the hall. This game is still going? Yeah, we're almost done. We still probably have about 24 hours left. But we're almost done. He plans to hang that thing here? That's what he wants. After all, this mansion is little more than one of Father's toys. Natsu took a deep breath. Though it was the whim of Kinzo's, a man she greatly respected, she seemed to resist the idea of hanging it right there in the entrance hall, the face of the mansion. Yeah, 24 more hours. There's one more game, and then about 5 hours left in this game, or 6 hours left in this game. When the white sheet was pulled off, a Western woman wearing a beautiful dress came into view. It was a massive portrait of a woman. Is it proceeding well? Yes. It will be finished by this evening. I would like to see it hanging there for all to see as soon as possible. I want you overseeing this, my friend. Leave it to me. Father, it seems a splendid portrait. Indeed. Quite exceptional quality. I am satisfied. This is your benefactor, the woman who gave you the gold, right? Indeed. If I had not met Beatrice, I would not be here. Nor would the Ushimiya family, nor would, of course, this mansion. That's true. It's only natural that her portrait be displayed in the best possible location. Now that he had said it bluntly, there would be no contradicting him. Kraus and Natsu could only shrug. Master, the epitaph plate is here. Would you please check to see that all is in order? Indeed. Each and every word must be correct. Epitaph? Kraus and Natsu crooked their heads and followed Kinzo. The leader of the workers set down a plate wrapped in a sheet. The others thought that the picture's name and description might be on it, but it seemed to have quite a lot of words for that. Father, what is this? Behold, the Sweetfish River running through my hometown? You already know. Why did it do the thing? Yeah. Did it not give it in tips or something? Weird. It did the thing, but... That character look cool? All the characters are cool. Except, like, 1 or 2. Read and interpret it as you like. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my hometown. So we finally reached the appearance of the epitaph and the portrait. I don't know much about this epitaph. It doesn't exist in my world. It doesn't exist in the world that the heir was born and raised. Probably not. In your world, there's already a clear successor, you. Oh, duh, yeah. But not in this world. In other words, the epitaph was set up to choose grandfather's successor after all? Most likely. Or he might have wanted to believe in the chance of a miracle. A difficult riddle made so that no one would be able to solve it. If someone actually could solve it, they themselves would be a miracle. Perhaps that miracle would guide the person Kinzo most wanted to solve it. In short, the epitaph really does depict a ceremony to revive the witch Beatrice, just as everyone thought. That does seem to be the obvious interpretation. A mysterious ceremony sacrificing 13 people to revive the witch. However, the true ceremony wasn't that. It lies in wait for someone to miraculously solve it. That is the true ceremony. However, fate does have its irony. Genji already knew. Maybe Kinzo set this up in the first place, because he guessed that Genji knew everything. Was the fate a coincidence, or something planned? I do not know. However, with this epitaph, the witch Beatrice will revive in the truest sense. Chapter 8, Journey to the Golden Land. Oh. Excuse me. This is Beatrice. My soul was captured by the woman shown in that massive portrait. That might have been literally true. Or rather than captured, perhaps it would be better to say that my soul had returned to a more fitting place it belonged. The beautiful blonde hair was the same as mine, but tied up. The dress she wore was a deep black, making that golden hair stand out all the more. This is the witch, Beatrice. My true form. What is this? There was a plate with too many words for it to be the title of the picture. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. The Golden Land. I see. So my world is the Golden Land. I have always called my own personal world a paradise, but tonight I shall change that. From now on, my world shall be the Golden Land. I am the master of the Golden Land, Beatrice. And then there's the brutal ceremony of sacrifices, starting on the first twilight. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. If I carry out this ceremony, will I revive in the truest sense? Then on the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. Would I consider myself a fan of Japanese culture? Yes, I would say so. 1 shall be all gold from the Golden Land. Kinzo received a message about a massive amount of gold from Beatrice, and rumor has it that it still lies hidden somewhere. Is this, as the family members and servants are all whispering, a code showing the location of Kinzo's hidden gold? If a human solves it, they will obtain a great quantity of gold. However, if I do, it will mean my own resurrection? Kinzo, you aging magician. Just when I was mocking the shortness of the time left to you, you start a game like this. How interesting. I'll definitely solve it. Then I will revive as the real Beatrice. When that happens, I will use my great magical power to rule over object and man, day and night, and all of Rokkenjima. Everyone says that epitaph is a guide to finding hidden treasure. The rumors tell me that the master has 10 tons of gold hidden away. Yes, and Beatrice supposedly gave it to him. I've heard that one too. 10 tons of gold, that would be incredible. I can hardly even imagine it. If you had all that, what would you use it for? I'd like to touch it just once. Forget touching it, I'd like to spend it all. But why would he go out of his way to display this epitaph? This code showing the hiding place of the gold. That's obvious. He's laughing at everyone, since he thinks no one can solve it. It's a challenge to the rest of us, isn't it? He wants to know if there's anyone here wise enough to solve it. It seems that the master doesn't intend to let Kraus take the headship easily. Perhaps the one who solves this will become his successor?
次期当主にするという意味かもしれませんよ。
Genji, what is this? Could this be a portrait of Beatrice? The Beatrice? Correct. This is Beatrice-sama. What on earth? There's a strange little poem over here. What's this all about? It's almost like a pirate code that shows the way to a hidden treasure. Genji, what does this mean? The master said to read and interpret it as you wish. That the riddle applies equally to all who can see the epitaph. You said riddle just now, didn't you? That means this can be solved. Yes, that's it. Father doesn't want Nissan to succeed him. So whoever solves this will become the successor? Finally. The tables have finally turned. And I now have a real chance to become the head. The goat? Ava? No chance. What do you think, Kiri? I think it's extremely likely that this epitaph points to the location of the gold. It looks like Aniki thinks the one who solves it will be chosen as the successor. That's another theory that might fit. Father certainly doesn't view Kraus as an ideal successor. It might be a huge trick he set up now that he's reaching the end of his years. So if you really solve this riddle, you stand to gain 10 tons of gold and the position of successor? On the surface, perhaps. However, I'm sensing some malice, as though he doesn't think anyone is capable of solving it. I doubt he made it to be solved easily. True. Guess we won't have trouble looking for something to do over a drink for a while now. Ridiculous. How could anyone solve this? Rosa tossed aside a notepad with the epitaph written on it and flopped over on the sofa. Solving this means 10 tons of gold. With that much, I'd never need to worry about schemes for cash again. If I had money, I could pay off my debts, and that man might come back to me. I know where Father's beloved hometown is. And the Sweetfish River? There are many rivers there. What's this village supposed to be? I don't have a clue. Ugh. What's wrong, Mama? Maria looked concerned. Kids are really good at riddles, so maybe... Hey, Maria. Do you think you know the answer to this riddle? Maria gazed at the paper with the epitaph on it as though she was trying to bore through it with her eyes. Her eyes opened wider and wider. What do you think, Maria? I guess it might be a bit too hard for you. This is a witch's ceremony. A resurrection ceremony for Beto. Where'd you get this? Hey, Mama, where'd you get this? I'm gonna ask Beto. I'm sure the ceremony will let Beto regain her full power. She'll be able to appear in front of everyone and do miracles of magic without having to worry about the anti-magic toxin anymore. Rosa's like, come on, man. And the epitaph? It seems the family members are all competing to solve the riddle. Good. Let everyone try, and none will solve it, except for the one blessed by a miracle. If I let my guard down, even I might forget the process. That is how difficult it is. Because it is difficult, solving it will bring about a miracle? Precisely. This miracle shall be the last one I desire in my life. My final bit of magic. When a miracle comes and allows one to solve that complicated epitaph, it will surely mean Beatrice's resurrection. I just want to see your face one more time. I don't need wealth or honor anymore. If I could only meet you one more time. This would be the last bit of magic that Kinzo, who realized that he was facing his last years, would ever use. He was betting everything that Beatrice had given him, hoping to meet her just one more time after being separated by death through 2 generations. His meeting with Beatrice that day had been a true beginning of his life, and even with them gone, Kinzo had remained there alone on the stage that had gone dark. The aged monarch had obtained everything, accomplished everything, but this was the one element that always slipped through his fingers, no matter how much he struggled. If he could just have that element, he would need nothing else in life. In the end, perhaps his whole life was just a journey to learn that one single element makes up all that it means to be human. My friend, will my life's final bit of magic show me a miracle? For a while, Genji was silent. He wasn't at a loss for words or struggling to find an answer. During that silence, something had passed between the two men, who had known each other for so long that their friendship surpassed that of master and servant. No, that will do. No one will solve it. That's why a miracle will occur. Master, please tell me one thing. What is it? If I ask you, if a miracle does occur, it may have been difficult during his youth, but in his old age, Genji rarely spoke of dreams and what-ifs. When Genji said if, Kinzo quietly waited for the words of the man he called a friend. If a miracle does occur, if your magic comes true, and Beatrice does revive, what will you do? As the one closest to Kinzo, Genji obviously knew of the crazed feelings with which Kinzo had searched for Beatrice in the past. And yet, Genji was asking what Kinzo would actually do if she did revive. Master, at one time in the past, you experienced the miracles of Beatrice being reborn. If that miracle happened again, what would you do? My friends? So after all, you do blame me. I have no way of knowing everything in your heart and Beatrice's. However, I believe I do understand at least part of the way in which Beatrice adored you. I lament the fact. You may not believe it, but as I have aged, I have come to regret all of it. If a miracle does occur, and Beatrice revives, then of course, I do not care if she knows nothing of the time she spent with me in the past. No, as long as she is Beatrice, I don't care who it is. I just want to apologize. Ah, is that truly how you feel? Yes, my friends. I regret it. How deeply I regret those mistakes I've made in my youth. You have aged as well, so you must know. One cannot feel guilt for the sins of their youth when one is still young. However, like deep thorns, they begin to fester, torturing me. I, Ushiromiya Kinzo, no longer care how I die. However, this thorn, this regret, is the one account I must settle. I will return everything to Beatrice, and I will ask her to forgive me for my sins, for that is my only and final wish. Kinzo covered his eyes and sobbed. The aged monarch, who had built up great wealth in a single generation, was reaching the end of his life, and he could do nothing but sob because he wanted someone to apologize to. Wasn't the epitaph a trial grandfather made to choose the successor? I thought that too at first, but it looks like the situation's a bit different. At this point in time, I also thought it was a trial. That was a game for selecting the successor, which Kinzo decided upon a whim. And it wasn't? This epitaph meant something for Kinzo and Rinue Genji that only two of them could understand. So, this was not the workings of fate. It was inevitable. I was no more than a Cinderella, with a pumpkin carriage and glass slipper all prepared beforehand. I get it. So, this was a farce that Kinzo and Genji set up. A farce? Kinzo did understand, and Genji realized that this was a message. I don't have a clue what you mean. What did grandfather understand? And what does Genji have to do with this? The epitaph wasn't solved. Someone was made to solve it. And then Beatrice truly revived. If that revival had never happened, then 1986 would still have come, but the incident might have been completely different. And so, since the time of my birth, I have been trapped by the crossroads of fate, never giving the right to make any decisions of my own will. So are they saying that Kinzo made this epitaph essentially asking Genji, did that child die? Is that what's happening? Because then, in a sense, Beatrice would be revived if Genji said, Master, that child that you knew was Beatrice's, that I said died 19 years ago, or in this case 16 years ago, did not die. That would be a revived Beatrice, right? In Kinzo's eyes. So while there may be an epitaph, and he said it's a miracle, so I'm sure it's like literally solvable by some bullshit. But that's the miracle, right? The miracle is that someone solves it. but Ava figured it out or whatever. But I think realistically its purpose was Kinzo asking Genji, hey, did that kid really die? Be real with me. Tell me if the witch Beatrice, i.e., or not the witch, if the reborn Beatrice, i.e. the third generation child of Beatrice, did that child die, Genji? Please tell me. And yet, I've never been able to resist fate. We are little more than leaves caught in a whirlpool. No matter how we dance, we must eventually be sucked in and disappear. Yeah, I can't... I hope they do show how it gets solved. I've given up on it. When Triplicate told me, don't even bother, and he solves the crossword in like 7 seconds every day, I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna bother. Gap's the one who specializes in instant movement. She's the 33rd in rank of the Great Demons. You must really be incredible to have a friend like that, Beato. I see. The Great Demon Gap. Very well, my friend. You will now be Gap. You may call yourself by that name. Oh, this is cute. So, in the little tea parties that Beatrice and Maria had, like when Maria visits Rokkenjima, and Shannon pretends to be Beatrice to play with Maria, Maria has all this lore from like the occult stuff that she's read, and she's sharing that with Shannon Beatrice, and Beatrice is using that to expand her own little internal world. So you've finally given me a name. It's a relief after being nameless for so long. Yeah, it needs a ton of knowledge that most people, especially not those in the West, have. Okay, yeah, I'm sure. So I'm chilling on not solving it. I feel like I've hit enough targets on my playthrough so far that I'm chilling and enjoying the ride. In that case, I would like to be honored to receive a name as well. Being nothing more than a head furniture lacks flavor, does it not? Maria, I need a name for this guy too. He is a great demon and serves as my butler. He is a subordinate whom I can trust. Renove, I guess. The 27th rank to the Great Demons. It said he'll give you reliable underlings. My, what a coincidence. The family name of my double, Genji, is Renue. Oh, that truly is a coincidence. I see, it seems this is the best possible name for you. Very well, you should now be known as Renove. Oh, how pleasant it is to be called by one's name. I thank you for this wonderful name, Lady Maria. Maria is the Witch of Origins. Maria is the Witch of Origins because all of the naming and like lore was built because of these little tea parties that Shannon had with Maria. Just as a form can be a vessel, a name can be a powerful vessel too. For unknown creatures of the other world, simply gaining a name can greatly increase their magical power. That's why names are important. Ugh. True. Names are important and wonderful. Right, Leah? You can call me Gap now, okay? Yeah. A splendid name. I will remember it. So there's also... That might explain why Beatrice couldn't replace Sakutaro. Because it was Shannon the whole time. And she couldn't get off the island or couldn't find a means to get another one created. And I'll ask you to stop shortening my precious name. So you're Virgilia, the one who guides travelers to Beatrice. That is also a splendid name. Perfect for Milady's teacher. Yeah, the Virgil reference, the literal Virgil reference, huh? Yes, I like that a lot. A name is a life. Maria, thanks to you, my friends have found names. I am deeply grateful. Now it's your turn, Beato. Draw pictures of my bunny friends, like you did for Sakutaro. Very well. Lend me that grimoire. Beato's drawings are really great. I can't wait to see. What it'll be like, I can't wait to see the bunnies. Oh, are the bunnies the Chester sisters? They were in a forest band, were they not? A band. All of a sudden, Maria was no longer a little girl who did nothing but follow her mother around, laughing or crying. Though she is still young, she already has a powerful self-image, and possesses enough knowledge of the magical world to surprise even me. Together we call ourselves Mirage Sorcière and make each other's magical worlds deeper and richer. So a name can be a powerful vessel. How profound. It's very important to have a form for a vessel, but a name is just as important. Indeed. Those with names leave a greater impression than those without. It's not just about forms and names. By knowing more and more about them, you can make them exist much more strongly. So I'll think up lots of stuff for you. Did you do this for Sakutaro as well? Yeah. Sakutaro isn't just a name. There's a lot more to him than that. He is a lion cub, correct? Sakutaro's a Vegeta lion. So he doesn't eat Vegeta lion. He's vegetarian. So he doesn't eat meat. But everyone else thinks he does, and they're scared of him. But Sakutaro's also a scaredy cat, so he's just as scared as the others. Sakutaro's such a coward. Oh. I don't eat meat. I'm not a scary lion. Look, a flesh-eating sparrow. Sparrows are scary. Sparrows don't eat meat. Sakutaro's a coward, so he thinks they do. Did the sparrow go away? You're such a scaredy cat, Sakutaro. If you keep this up, Sakasuke and Sakukichi will start making fun of you again, right? Ichi was the name of one of the Chester sisters, right? Yeah, they're not on here. I'm not a scaredy cat. Oh, the sparrow's back. Sakutaro is quite entertaining. Then, are Sakasuke and Sakukichi his siblings? Yeah, they're his little brothers, waiting for him at home. Sakasuke is a lot more reliable than Sakutaro. Sakukichi is skillful, so he can do anything. But they're all really good friends. They all play together on my bed. Your bed must be covered with lions. Yeah, so I call my bed Lionland. But there's lots of other animals too. Lionland, is it? Sounds like fun. By interacting together, all of Maria's friends can reinforce their own existence. It's a magnificent world. I guess that means we should work on deepening our relationships as well. By strengthening our bonds, our existence and magical power grow stronger and stronger. Let's expand our world more and more. From what I've heard, Maria's world has far more than just Sakutaro and the bunnies. We can't let her beat us. In that case, shall we find more minions for ourselves? It's no fun with just gold butterflies. After all, they cannot speak. I'd like some chatty minions who can talk, jump around, and fight with each other. True. Of course, it'll be better to spice things up around here. Here in Mirage Sorcière, we have learned how to expand our worlds and create new minions. By now, you may create new minions as often as your imagination allows. Hi Doobie, how's it going? Milady, what about those? Could you make vessels of those dark tools you found when cleaning out Goldsmith's storage room? Oh, perfect. Minions created from dark-looking vessels like they will surely be fitting for me. There will be more and more of us, and we will get it very lively here. We'll get more and more new friends. That's my magic. And Beto can make friends and give them a form. You can make them grow. You create them, and I grow them. Indeed. That's Mirage Sorcière for you. And still, bunny ears are pretty hard. Might take some time before the bunnies manifest themselves. Be sure you make them cute. Of course. This is where I get to show my skill. Create a creature. Give it a name. Give it a form. Doing that is no different than giving birth to new life. When a human gives birth to a child, they give it a form, give it a name to identify it by, and deepen its character by raising it in the world. Mirage Sorcière is doing exactly the same thing. In our world, we can create whatever creatures we think of, give them forms, give them names, and make them friends we can interact with. We were engrossed with our game in this world called Mirage Sorcière. At least, Maria was engrossed. She would badger me to play this game every time she came.
And of course I was too. However, when Maria started happily writing something, I just sat there for a while. I must admit that I sighed and looked up at the sky, making sure she didn't notice. It's fun to increase the numbers of our minions. They make things lively, so I do not tire of it. I may have tired of my minions alone, but even that problem goes away when I can interact with Maria's as well. It takes 2 people to create a universe. I now have that second person, so I am satisfied. I think I'm satisfied. And yet, one little part of me is not. It truly is a tiny part. After all, it's so much fun playing with Maria that time seems to fly on by. But even so, when I look up at the sky, during those short moments I feel an empty feeling that I can't describe. I know. My universe is not complete. My apologies to Maria, but she is not the second person I want to create a universe with. No matter how much I nurture my world with her, the roots of love in my heart leave gaps. 4 years have already passed since that day. He left saying he'd come for me riding a white horse, and I was the only one without a letter. And he even said that he probably wouldn't be returning to Rokkenjima. Is this love? I always believed that love was so much sweeter, so much more intoxicating. But now I don't know anymore. Though I long for him so much it's maddening, I can sometimes feel hatred underneath. However, even that hatred is wrapped in adoration. The roots of love have remained in the corners of my heart all this time. At some point, I gave up hoping that Battler would return. However, the roots of love stayed right where they were. In other words, even 4 years later, still believe. He will come back someday. The flower of my love that's curled up and withered as though against the winter cold. However, that root is still alive. And it always, always is waiting for him to return. Waiting for a chance to bloom beautifully again. I'm grateful to Maria. Mirage Sorcier has eased the burden on my heart so much. If we hadn't met like this, I may have withered away along with that root. Even this incomplete universe is necessary for me to remain alive now. I must live on, until I can create my complete universe. Until that day, I will not be complete. Though I have a form and a name, no matter how deep my world grows, I will not be complete. I am not complete. Eto. I accidentally muttered what I had been thinking. Maria stopped talking to Sakutaro. I regretted that my slip of the tongue had ruined this fun time. But there was a long silence before I could smooth it over. I laughed, but it probably sounded hollow. Maria, not knowing why my face had suddenly changed like this, looked taken aback. Though my minions will each deepen this world in their own existences, becoming full, I alone will never be complete. I know why I will not be complete. Because you don't have enough magical power. Maria answered instantly. Beatrice has lost her magical power and is unable to regain the strength she once had. That's how the story goes. So Maria's answer was correct. That's right. I may be incomplete because I have lost my magical power. In that case, if my power becomes complete, and I revive in the truest sense, will my world become complete as well? Does that mean that the person I want to nourish a universe with will come back? If, as I claim, I really was able to control miracles at will in the past with my magic, then if I succeed in reviving, would that miracle definitely occur? If such a thing were possible, I'd want true magical power to use for my resurrection. That's right. It's because I do not possess enough magical power. Poor Beto. It must be pretty inconvenient with your magical power still weak. I want to get it back. Quickly. My old power. I guess you'll have to do that then. What do you mean by that? The ceremony of resurrection. The ceremony of the portrait's epitaph. If you read that epitaph literally, it does sound like a witch's resurrection ceremony. To Maria, who believes in witches, that epitaph must be a ceremony in itself. Unlike the other family members, it seems that she's not very interested in the location of the hidden gold. If that epitaph's riddle is solved, one might learn the location where Kinzo hid all the gold I once gave him. That's the gold you created with magic, right? Indeed. A crystallization of the great magic I possessed in those days. In that case, if you get the gold back, your magical power will go back to normal.
Perhaps. It will. It's got to be a resurrection ceremony. I'll help. So let's solve it together. Then you'll revive. And when you do, you'll take me to the Golden Land. That's right. I did promise that I would take you to the Golden Land. You said that all wishes are granted there. There's no black witch there, and just a nice mama. And it might even meet the papa that I've never seen before. Of course, there won't be any school or homework or bullying friends, and we can live happily ever after. Hey Sakataru, doesn't that sound fun? What's up, Rysair? Like Umineko so far? Yes, I've loved this story so far. It's so good. And I can't wait to be done with it, but then, like you say, I'll know it. I could probably give it a second read, probably not on stream, but give it a second read and kind of pick up on all the hints that were given along the way. I'm kind of excited to think about that as well. The epitaph of the portrait. So, must I face the epitaph's riddle after all? Kinzo's children struggled uselessly over it. How could a complete stranger like me solve it? If I did happen to solve it, that would surely be a miracle. Will doing that bring about another miracle and return my miraculous power to me? Should do that on stream too, just all Umineko all the time. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. So, am I to travel down a river in Kinzo's homeland in search of a key? As you travel down the river, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. There may be villages if I go down a river, but what is the shore the two will tell you of? The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. So those who do not have the key need not read the rest? I don't understand it, but that's how the riddle is. It's practically unsolvable, so solving it would, therefore, be a miracle. That much makes sense. I felt a stabbing pain in my body. The anti-magic toxin had burned my skin. Some human is probably approaching. I erased my form. Multiple sets of footsteps approached. It was Genji, Shannon, and Kanon too. It seems everyone is engrossed with solving the epitaph's riddle. I hear that even some of the servants have copied it down and taken it home with them. If you solve this riddle, will you really find 10 tons of gold? Yes. There can be no doubt of that. I don't understand. The puzzle may be a tough one, but why is the master showing the location of his gold in a place where everyone can see? That is the master's magic, and it's also a bet. The master believes that the one who solves the difficult riddle will contain Beatrice's soul within them. That's a strange bet. Magic. Looks like he's taken his occult fanaticism as far as it could possibly go. You shouldn't say that. All are allowed to try and solve the epitaph's riddle. Of course, the servants are no exceptions. I wonder if you go back and look. No, it can't be. Genji has to have directly addressed Kanon at some point. Will you try to solve it? No. I could never solve such a hard riddle. And anyway, and even if I had 10 tons of gold, I can't think of anything in particular I'd want to use it for. I'd be more than happy if those peaceful days continued forever. Looks like you and George have been pretty close these days. I just hope being distracted doesn't make you even more of a klutz. That won't happen. With a backward glance at the conversation, Genji walked up to the portrait and looked up at the witch. When they saw what Genji was doing, Shannon and Kanon immediately went silent. Genji, who was the head of the servants, the closest in age to Kinzo, and the one whom Kinzo called a friend, probably understood Kinzo's heart better than anyone else. What did he think when he looked at this portrait? Neither Shannon nor Kanon could tell. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. Suddenly, Genji started reciting the epitaph. Shannon quickly nodded to show that she was listening, but it wasn't clear whether he was talking to her at all. Genji, his back still to them, continued. The master would not describe Odawara as his beloved hometown. We know that. I've heard that he lived far away.
But we don't know where it was.
台湾だ。
Taiwan. Genji turned around and spoke that single word. Oh. Is that so? I see. That explains what Kraus always used to say. Remember him talking about how the master liked areca nuts? Come to think of it, Kraus said that those were a luxury item like tobacco that was popular in Taiwan. So that's why the master... Holy. That did come up, didn't it? Kraus tried to like areca nuts because Kinzo liked them so much. You were right to look in a different country. Yeah, but I was in Sweden. That was the random throwaway hint. I'm gonna end it all. That's so ass. Taiwan, you say? In the half century before the war, Taiwan was under the rule of Japan. Many Japanese had moved there seeking a new frontier. That's the hint I was told was a dead giveaway for Eastern readers. Oh, so everyone in the East knows that areca nuts equals Taiwan? Oh, now. We know it's Taiwan now. Apparently, yeah. Hold on a minute, meow. Let's go to Taiwan. Let's go to Taiwan. I don't know where the hell Taiwan is. Taiwan. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my hometown. Are we still screwed? I've read Higurashi and also Higanbana. No, I have not. Alright, there's still no way. I mean, it helped. Wait. Heck, wait. Well, be a river, like, does it have to be a river? I mean, they did pull out an atlas, and then all the kids would know that it was Taiwan, right? I mean, does this tell us anything? Probably not. This right here, maybe? Tamsui River? Village? I mean, like, what? I don't think I'm finding it. I wonder if they'll dump and just tell you it here. Yeah, I'm not gonna... I don't want to stay up super late either. That did not immediately help. Many Japanese moved there seeking a new frontier. Kinzo's family was a branch of the family of the Ushimiyas. Apparently, they were only distantly related to the head family, so they were able to form a new life and a new future without being constrained by the head family in Odawara. Shannon and Cannon nodded their heads, understanding, but they didn't know why Genji had suddenly broached the subject. So there was a river with sweet fish in it in the master's hometown in Taiwan, and the key is there? Don't be stupid. There has to be several rivers with sweet fish in that area. We don't know that for sure, right? I don't know where the master lived in Taiwan, but there might have been only one river there. Also, I think they said it's not a river. Like, the sweet fish would help you find it if you didn't know his childhood home was in Taiwan, was kind of the implication that Rosa and Ava had in episode 3. Like, oh yeah, Sweetfish was a good hint, but you didn't need it if you knew where his hometown was. So I think you just got to think of a metaphorical river to do with Taiwan. If so, that must be the place. You're too optimistic. There's no way the riddle could be solved that easily. The master says his magical ceremony will gain more power if more people try to solve the riddle. You must try as well. Everyone has been given the same chance. Yeah. As if we had a chance. This is pointless. Genji spun around. Shannon and Kennen hurried to follow after him. With his footsteps receded as silence returned, the gold butterfly flitted out from among the shadows. Among? Taiwan, is it? So he lived quite far away. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. In other words, a Sweetfish River running through Taiwan. There's so many rivers in Taiwan. Kennen was right. How ridiculous. However, the word Taiwan interests me. The taciturn Genji muttered it without anyone asking, so it is even possible that it means nothing? Clearly, Genji saying it had something to do with the epitaph's riddle. It's almost as though it was a hint for solving it. Though I do find it stupid. Very well, Genji. Why don't I play along with your farce for a while? Taiwan. I have traveled the world at times during these past 1,000 years, but I know nothing of that place. To counter my ignorance, I shall need a crystallization of knowledge, that which is smoothed out and pressed into many sheets, what is called a book. That's a funny line. Where am I to find a book about Taiwan? Kinzo Study is the first place that comes to mind if one is looking for books. But that won't work. The charm on that room prevents me from entering. So the library, is it? Did Shannon solve the riddle years ago? Maybe it was somewhere related to Japan and Arecanut. The combination would get you there, right? Yeah. Kinzo's vast collection of books grows each year. The books that don't fit in his study are stored in a book storage room that usually call the library. Of course, there are countless books just in this place. The library has everything from valuable books to apparently worthless books, all packed together like an antique shop. There was a golden glint in the keyhole of the library's door, and a gold butterfly flitted out. Stinky as ever, I see. Dust, mold. I see. So this is the stench of knowledge. Well now, how can I find a book on Taiwan among all this? The prospect is almost dizzying. However, I realized right away, if I wanted to quickly find about a Taiwanese river, I didn't want a book on Taiwan. An atlas. There must be one of those somewhere around here. Search. My butterfly minions, find the book I seek in this dusty, noble graveyard of knowledge. A cloud of countless gold butterflies appeared at my feet. They swayed, blew like the wind, and coiled themselves around in the library. Eventually, the cloud of butterflies selected a single book. It seemed this is the one. Well done. A World Atlas Asia volume. Perfect. It was a grand, thick, illustrated encyclopedia of maps, several volumes long. There was even a thick section on Taiwan. This should be plenty useful. Taiwan. 394 kilometers north to south, 144 kilometers east to west. An area of roughly 36,000 square kilometers. Oh, that's pretty large. By area, that's about the same size as Kyushu in Japan. This led Beto to a very natural question. Just where on this massive island did Kinzo live? Genji mentioned Taiwan, but that's all. How careless I've been. Beto had vaguely assumed that the riddle would be solved in a flash if she could just look at a map of Taiwan. However, Taiwan is no small place. Just what part of the large island did Kinzo call his beloved hometown? I kept looking through books in this dusty library, sometimes having to cough, and I was not happy with being stuck in a place like this. So the largest city is Taipei. It says here that Japanese people used to live in a spot called Taisho. So is that where Kinzo lived? No. It's too early to be sure of that without proof. I'll skip to the next part before I settle on anything more specific than just Taiwan itself. A Sweetfish River running through the hometown. What's this? There are 129 rivers in Taiwan. 129 rivers. How many of those have sweet fish swimming in them? Just thinking about it is dizzying. That was quickly becoming ridiculous. Genji must have been muttering nonsense to himself after all. I only thought he was giving out a hint about the epitaph. So the reward for the fool blinded by gold is dust. Nice one, Genji. I tossed the book aside, used magic to turn a bookshelf into a sofa, and plopped down on top of it. For a while, I grumbled about getting tricked and looked up at the ceiling. I was annoyed, so I felt like gathering all this room's dust, packing it into a ball, and tossing it into Genji's teacup. So I glanced down at the floor. The book I had thrown away lay open on the ground. A miracle. A gold butterfly was resting on that open page. Tossing a book at random and reading an oracle from a page it happens to open is kind of a ritual. I see. So that page must have some sort of hint. Not entirely convinced, I picked the book up. The open page was probably very nearly the one I had been reading. Apparently it was a page explaining Taiwan's geography. Oddly enough, it was a page about rivers and lakes. I already know that there are 129 rivers. Is there something else you're trying to tell me? There were 6 major rivers listed. Zhoushe, Taoping, Danshui, Dajia, Zhangwon, and Dadu. ZKDDZD. Okay, that's horribly useless. Now then, which of these rivers might have sweet fish in them? An idea came to me then. Sweet fish are freshwater fish, and you don't find ocean water in rivers. Unless it's extremely dirty or blocked by a dam. Any river could have sweet fish in it. How foolish. All rivers have fresh water in them. What's stopping sweet fish from living in any river? Come to think of it, what a foolish name this Danshui River has. Freshwater river? What sort of river isn't a freshwater river? It would only make sense to name a river after what's in it if it were literally anything else. Danshui River flows from Taipei to the harbor town of Danshui. I see. It isn't called that because of the water in it, but because of the town at its mouth. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. I realize that this is stupid, and yet there's something about this town. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. That line should be talking about one of the 129 rivers. Sweetfish are freshwater fish. And here's this freshwater river flowing down to a town called Freshwater. It's like a strange, trivial word game. They did mention that sweetfish were freshwater fish multiple times in previous episodes. Or could it be some kind of code? I've been looking for books here so long that dust is piling up on me. If I give up now, it will all have been a waste of time. Very well. Why don't I test my luck and see if the random page of the book open contains an oracle? I turn to the next page, trying to search it in even greater detail. To me, solving this riddle was like a game, one that all the servants were engrossed in. I was just trying to be one in that group. For quite some time, I had suffered from a lack of books I could find particularly absorbing, and I was very bored. So I took that book back with me to my own room and looked through it every night. There's a hint for the epitaph's riddle in an atlas. In the 3rd game, Ava solved the riddle after reading a book in the book archive. Then in the 5th game, Erica looked for an atlas before solving the riddle herself. Then there really is some sort of secret in a map of Taiwan? I believe that the Sweetfish River part was a code for Danshui River. Every day I researched the surrounding geography in detail. Of course, I also looked up several small streams that might have sweetfish in them. However, that didn't get me anywhere. According to some information from a previous game, we aren't looking for an actual river, but it is something that flows. That's how Ava interpreted it. So it isn't a river. Correct. In the end, Danshui River had nothing to do with it. However, now that I think about it, it must have been an oracle after all. That river itself was unrelated, but it was still a great hint. The river was unrelated, but it was still a hint? Calm down and think. Think of something that flows, but isn't a river. So, tears flow. Money flows. What else flows? Waves. Tide. The tide ebbs and flows. Something other than water that flows? What can you think of? Try and think outside the box. Something that flows. Will? I'm tired of all this puzzle solving. Stop being annoying and give us the answer. You solved the epitaph, right? Probably. Something other than water that flows. Something. Something? Methods of transportation? Like a road or a highway? Correct. It took me so long to realize that the Sweetfish River did not refer to water itself. That's right. There's something other than a river with the name Danshui. Something that both people and things flow up and down. Up and down? You mean railroads. Oh, okay. The Danshui Line. It's a railway that goes from Taipei to Danshui Harbor. It was constructed in 1901 when Taiwan was under Japanese rule. Afterwards, the number of stations continued to grow, and it became a major artery into Taipei. Yeah, I would have never found this. This railroad was used after the war as well, and still in common use as the Danshui Line of the Taipei Rapid Transit System. Its route begins at Taipei Station and continues on until the town of Danshui. Danshui Station. Formerly... I can't quite read that. What are we talking about here? What did the epitaph say you'd see if you went down the river? A village. There's only one station in the Danshui Line with the village kanji, and that is that station. How do you read this? The Japanese pronunciation is Kirigan. Its name was changed to Sekihai Station after the war, but when Kinzo lived there, it was Kirigan Station. So is it Krigan are the 6 characters? As you travel down the river, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. Village, that isn't the only one. You can also see that in this is the character for sure. Oh, you had to know kanji and stuff to solve this. In the end, it took me quite a long time to work out that the station was the one referred to. It has the character for village and the character for shore. It felt like a kid's riddle, playing with letters. That first character in Kirigan has a rho, the character for mouth. And that, the other half of the first character means the word that, right? That village is shore, and the mouth is telling of it. Wow. But I don't get what the 2 means. The 3 characters of Kirigan can be spelled into a mouth and that, a village, and a shore. Those are all words that appear in the epitaph. In that village, look for the shore the 2 will tell you of. You can read it as code for the name of the station. However, I don't quite understand the part about the 2. I was also stuck on that part. However, by then I was very confident that this station was what the epitaph referred to. If the station was once known by a different name, then could some local spot also have had its name changed? That's right. Kirigan Station was named after a nearby location after all. And though the name of that area was also Kirigan, it's written differently. Ah, there are 2 mouths. I didn't take much investigation before it was clear. The epitaph must have been referring to this place, called Kirigan. Then, is this where the key to the Golden Land rests? That would be the obvious answer. However, I couldn't make the long trip to Taiwan to check. And of course, the place known as Kirigan is quite large itself. If a tiny key was hidden somewhere there, I'd never find it. I was at a loss. I was never solving this. But you didn't give up. I was certain that I had found the answer, at least to the first 5 lines of the epitaph. In my eyes, it truly was an entertaining game. No, a mystery. I almost gave up then. However, there was no doubt that I had the key in my hand, so I decided to travel to the Golden Land in accordance with the epitaph. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. We can tell by this line that the key refers to 6 things. Reasoning makes it possible to see that this could refer to a physical key. Could not refer to a physical key. 6 things? Yes, 6 things. I was merely a thick-headed human. I decided to look through books for anything related to the number 6. 6. 666. The location of the key called Kirigan was hidden by a word game. That means the 6 things were surely connected by some sort of word game too. 6. 666. I kept searching for 6. Is there some way to split up the characters in Kirigan to get 6? A good idea. Still, no matter how much you stare at those 3 characters, you won't get an answer. The problem here is that Kirigan is just the Japanese reading of the name. Then how did they pronounce it there? Kirian. Kirian. When written in Roman characters, that's 6 letters long. 6 letters. Then it's a word game after all. Quilian. This is what it means by the 6 chosen by the key. I get it. Thinking about it like that, it sounds like a line of reasoning that can be reached in a second. However, it took a long time before I reached this spot on my own. Dude, anyone who said you can solve the epitaph now, I'm gonna wrangle. Because, like, I don't know kanji. I didn't know to look up the Taiwanese pronunciation of the name of the town. Like, please. You can solve it. Okay. If I'm, like, N2 Japanese certified, maybe. So what does this mean to offer 6 letters as sacrifices? Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't even be able to solve it if you gave me more hints. It is technically true. All the information is given to you, and you could technically solve it. I still don't even know what the first Twilight is. On the second Twilight, we start hearing about those who remain. Reasoning opens up the possibilities that the 6 letters of the key are being removed from an even larger set of letters. This we got to, yeah. However, what could the 6 letters be removed from? That puzzle worried me for a long time. It's like the start of an entirely new riddle. This time, I would like to solve it all by myself, without any assistance. In a previous game, I'm pretty sure Aunt Rosa formed some sort of theory about the first Twilight. Yeah, she said it was like a journey. A theory about a 10-day journey ending at the 10th Twilight. On the 10th Twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. So she took that section to be a literal trip that ends when you attain to, or reach, the treasure of the Golden Land. Yeah, I don't think you're meant to solve it. Probably not, right? I wonder how many people actually did. What meaning was there in these words? Realizing that there was something to be found, and then realizing what the something actually was took another long stretch of time. By Rosa's reasoning, attain to meant reaching some physical location represented by the 4 treasures. It was a good try, but not quite right. It's not the treasures we're supposed to reach, but their power. What does it even mean to reach the power of something like that? Don't overthink it. What else can the word power mean? Power, like exponent? Your reach, or rather, raise yourself to the power of the 4 treasures. Oh wow, it is an exponent. Starting at Twilight number 10, and this is done once and for the last time. Oh, so an exponent, like a math problem. Here, I had home field advantage since I lived on Rokkenshima. There was a hint there that made it easier to think of a certain large number. In fact, you might say that I actually found the answer before I knew what the question was. If you keep making it so complicated, Leon's gonna get a headache. Let's get back to the point. 10 to the 4th power is 10,000. If you reach 10,000 on the 10th Twilight, how far have you gotten by the 1st Twilight? If you reach 10,000 on the 10th Twilight, how far have you gotten by the 1st Twilight? Well, that's just 1/10 of 10,000. 1,000, right? Right. But while that gives us a single word, it has nowhere near enough letters, nor does it match the key at all. However, the end of the line said, you will attain to the power once and for the last time. If we interpret this as raising 10 to the 4th power once, and then doing the same thing one final time, you end up with 10 quadrillion? That's 10 quadrillion at the 10th Twilight, or quadrillion at the 1st Twilight. Oh. And all the letters from Kilian are in quadrillion? I'm gonna kill all of you, dude. There's no way anyone would solve this. Should I say, as you guessed? Strangely enough, both words begin with Q. I felt that this just had to be right. It's not done. I'm gonna jump. Leon took a notepad from a pocket and spelled out quadrillion and Killian. So if you took those out, you would be left with U-D-R-O. U-D-R-O. Road. The two words even look similar at a glance. That's right. It's true that the 6 letters chosen by the key are right there inside quadrillion. So what happens if we take them out? Oh, we only took one L out? And then we have to separate the two that are close. So... U-L-O? Lou? My glorious name is Lou? However, the most important thing is the number 5. After all, the next patch of the epitaph, the word kill appears 5 times. Can't be skipping steps. And then on the 9th twilight, none shall be left alive. In other words, there should be 5 letters left. On top of that, just as Battler guessed in the 5th game, 2 of these letters are close to each other. The D and the R. There must be the 2 who are close. Once you reach this spot, the riddle has been practically solved. Or put another way, this is as far as you can go with the epitaph alone. Yeah, she spent years, so... Ava probably... Knowing Ava, she probably, once this was revealed, probably thought of nothing but the epitaph every waking moment of her life. She wants it more than anything. But you won't be able to activate the device. That's right. Once you know this much, all that remains is to gouge and kill. You had a good idea of where the place was, even before you got this far, right? Yes. Some people suspected that the gold was hidden there even before the epitaph appeared. And because of the mysterious phrase that appeared there, it's only natural to think the place concealed some secret. What do you mean by the place? Road with an L? The place with the device that opens the door to the Golden Land. A quick-witted person should be able to figure out where the first twilight is by now. I thought the first twilight was quadrillion, not a place. It's the place where quadrillion is written. Place where quadrillion is written. You should know it. Or did you blindly follow Kinzo's orders and never go near it? Oh, okay. Where is it? Where's Bane? Chapter 9, The Day the Witch Revived. I'm like losing it. Quadrillion. There's only one place you'd find that word on Rokonjima. Quadrillion. Gold butterflies flitted from shadow to shadow, dodging raindrops. Is it the chapel? Unless my memory is mistaken, this is probably the place. It was the chapel. The mysterious building, one of the oldest on Rokonjima, which had been built at the same time as the mansion. It's called the chapel, but not once has Kinzo used it for worship, and members of the family had never been allowed inside. There were strict orders that none approach it without reason, and its purpose had always been a mystery. However, all of these mysteries got boring after several decades. At some point, everyone forgot the chapel even existed, and that splendid building passed from the thoughts of Rokonjima's residents. Of course, this had been true for Beto as well. Beto, who hated boredom, had no desire to approach places that humans never went. Her last memory was of the time she went there to taunt Shannon as she tried to clean. There can be no doubt. That is it. Quadrillion. Beto looked up above the door of the chapel. There was a relief displayed over an arch. English words were written there. You will be blessed only at the probability of a quadrillion to 1. Ah! Yeah, it did say that. That was in like episode 2, right? George read it and he's like, Grandpa's off his rocker. So you thought that was the probability of someone solving this riddle? This chapel was built long ago. If there was a device like the one I imagine, Kinzo must have prepared that epitaph riddle many decades ago. He must have been planning to use it as a ceremony for choosing a fitting successor all that time. However, that ceremony is now a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land and to my resurrection. When I snapped my fingers, the ground bulged and several snake-like dead trees sprouted up. They twisted around each other to form a ladder, which leaned itself against the door. My guess is right, there's some sort of device in that relief. I slowly climbed the ladder. Because, oh, do you just push the buttons? Are they buttons? And you push them in the order of the Twilights? Because of the size of the door, the relief was very high up. This close up, it looks much bigger than it did from the ground. Come to think of it, whenever we cleaned that chapel, this relief was the only thing that Genji made sure he polished himself. I always wondered why he didn't leave something so trivial to the younger servants. I thought it strange, but nothing more. The master treasured this relief so that the head servant cared for it himself. I always accepted that. But now I understand. There must be something in this relief, and Genji polished it himself to make sure that no one accidentally found it. Quadrillion. So I'm to sacrifice the 6th letter chosen by the key from Quadrillion. The tips of my fingers touched the Q. My fingertips were soon covered with dust. However, I quickly realized that there was something strange about it. Don't tell me this letter... No, it had to be like this. There would be no other way to offer up sacrifices. Beto grabbed the letter Q after lightly playing around with it in various ways. She pulled it out with a slight clunk. Just as I thought. Here's the Q I pulled out. And this part's a wedge, no? It's a key. A key was attached to the back of the Q and had been stuck into a keyhole in this relief. I see. In that case, I know what to do next. Very good. This Q key is a wrong answer. Enough with you. Beto carelessly tossed the Q key aside. This was the first sacrifice. She kept on pulling the keys for the 6 letters representing the key. So A will is to be sacrificed, and both I's, and then the N at the end. Now I only sacrificed 1 L, but unfortunately there are 2 here. There were 2 L's. I didn't know which I should sacrifice. I tried pulling both out, but the keys were of different shapes. So one is a right answer and one is wrong. Well, there are only 2. If I make a mistake, I can just try the other one. Unless messing up sets off a trap that blows up the island, of course. Thinking it was a waste of time to sit here worrying, I decided on the rightmost L and pulled it out. 5 letters remained in the word. So hear me out. Knowing this exists and knowing that Shannon knows about it, a lot of the first closed room mysteries, she could have hidden a master key. No, because they said in red that the master keys were all accounted for. But I guess they didn't necessarily have to be master keys. She could have hidden keys to various rooms inside these wedges and inside these letters and used those to lock the doors after she did what she did. So yeah, all the master keys were accounted for in the chapel murder, but the chapel key might have been in that relief. On to the second twilight. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. The D and the R are close. What does it mean to tear them apart? Do I pull them out? But if I do, there will only be 3 letters left. By this point, I was able to make a good guess at what the gouge and kill lines meant. Gouge and kill probably means to turn the keys and take them out. In that case, the parts about going from head to leg must mean starting at the left and going to the right. The first twilight in the chapel, then in episode 2? Yeah. If that's the case, there must be 5 characters left on the board. In other words, tear apart doesn't mean kill, so we can read tear apart meaning putting a gap between the D and the R. But how? Again, there are only 2 ways to do it. I know a way you could do it. You could take the R and put it in the N. But that would put O and N together. Do I remove the D and move it to the left? So remove the R and move it to the right. After pondering this for some time, I realized that both choices were wrong. No, that's not right. I've had it wrong ever since I removed that L. A short while ago, I removed the right of the two L's. However, if I had removed the left one, it would look like this. And if you line it up this way, it's easy to see the next step. The R gets shifted to the right. That way, all of the letters are separated out evenly. This is actually really cool. This must be it. And the next part is another tough one. Praise my name? It's already clear that this is a word game. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. What are the remaining 5 letters supposed to do? Probably change the order to form a word. What would this be? Lord? Makes sense. What should be done about these 5 letters? Praise my name. How can I get stuck after coming so far? How are these 5 letters supposed to praise a name? The man's name is Ushiromiya Kinzo. The U part of Ushiromiya. No, several letters don't match, and there aren't nearly enough letters to make Ushiromiya. One thing is certain. My name must refer to Kinzo. Then does the U stand for Ushiromiya after all? Like an initial? Then what do the other ones stand for? Lord? You Lord? R.O. Rokenjima? Master of Rokenjima Kinzo? No. This riddle left me totally confused. However, there were only 5 letters left. There can't be too many possible combinations of those letters. I could use process of elimination. Thinking I'd play around with it, I pulled out the U. There were 4 letters left. B, R, L, and O. My idea that the U stood for Ushiromiya was like a heavenly oracle. When I removed the U and thought of making a word with the remaining 4 letters, these 4 letters spun around in my head, changing their orders, and latched upon a single English word that would serve to praise Kinzo. Lord. I had absolutely no basis for it. However, it was like a flash of inspiration. I quickly changed the letters around before that flash faded from my mind. Lord U. U. Lord U. Ushiromiya. Lord Ushiromiya. On the 4th twilight gouged the head. Oh. It was a key, so it wouldn't have turned if it was the wrong one. But it did. I managed to gouge it. I gouged the first letter L with a click, and then pulled it out. Next, the 5th. Gouged the chest. The O was gouged and pulled out easily. Then the R, then the D, and finally the U. When I turned the key to the U, I could feel the resistance, as though some device had been activated. I waited for something to change, but nothing did. However, I had felt something happen. A secret door must have opened up somewhere around here. Waiting around won't accomplish anything. I've probably done everything I can here. All the letters in quadrillion have been removed. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. So this is the witch I have revived. The 10th twilight. The journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasure once and for the last time. When I stepped down off the ladder and looked around, I immediately noticed a small change. That lion statue. At some point, the lion statue in front of the chapel had turned to face a different direction. How did that work? Kinzo planned up this extravagant device back when he first started building on the island? I walked up to the lion statue and stared at it. Other than the fact that it was pointing a different direction, nothing had changed. In that case, is the lion looking at something in particular now? I followed this line of sight and saw another lion statue. And that one had also changed its direction. That's cool. Interesting. So follow the lion guideposts. As intricate as ever, I see Kinzo. I wasn't complaining anymore. I felt a bit of respect and awe at Kinzo for setting up such an intricate device and having it go undiscovered for all these years. There were lion statues standing like guardian deities at the entrance and the corners of the chapel. The direction they faced had changed, pointing around the back of the chapel. There was something there. Oh. It was no longer a surprise. This was after the contraption with the letters. After being guided by the lions. So when a gaping open secret passageway appeared, with stairs leading down to the darkness below, it wasn't surprising to me anymore. So this is the entrance to the Golden Land, Kinzo. That's a cool riddle, though. Did you find it? Grandfather's gold? Yes. It took ages and ages, but I had reached the Golden Land. According to the previous games, there was an underground VIP room there, along with 10 tons of gold, right? Yes. After going down a rough stairway, there was a door at the end of the passage. Inside, it was a beautifully furnished, true VIP room. And was the gold all you found there? Yes, at the time. It would be a lie to say that I was not dizzied by the sight of all that gold stacked high. Is this real? I lightly touched the pile of gold with my finger. It was hard and cold. I must have imagined that it would crumble like a sandcastle if I touched it. Now there could be no doubt. This certainly was a 10-ton pile of gold ingots. Considering the amount of gold I had just found, I figured I ought to be crying out in delight. I didn't really feel like laughing, but I thought it only good manners to do so in a situation like this, so I forced it out. Because of this, only a few feeble laughs slipped from my mouth. At that moment, even stronger than any delight was a feeling as though I'd entered a place I wasn't supposed to be. I couldn't think of what I should do next, now that the epitaph's riddle had been completed. Then I heard approaching footsteps. It was coming from the stairway I had entered by. Someone was coming. Would it be Kinzo? Finds out I've been in a place like this, will I get scolded harshly? I thought about hiding and forgetting this ever happening, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept standing there, stunned, in front of the pile of gold. As the footsteps drew closer and closer, the door opened and I saw who it was. It can't be Ava. It wasn't Kinzo. Genji. You. Did you reach this place by your power alone? Indeed. For some time, Genji stared at Beto in silence, as though he was calculating something. Then he slowly clapped his hands together. He did it again, over and over. It took quite a long time before I realized that he was applauding me. The master has said that he will hand over the gold and the headship to the first person who solves this epitaph. And he believed that this person would be Beatrice. Beatrice? Me? This is fate. It is fate that brought you to this day. I didn't really understand what Genji was saying. Surely the shock of seeing the gold still had me paralyzed. This is how she got the ring! She meets with Kinzo now. They hash everything out. And he gives her the ring that she can include in that letter on the first night of the 86 family conference. Come this way. Okay. Genji opened a closet. Inside was a torso wearing a beautiful dress made of black cloth and golden stitching. When I saw it, I understood immediately. It was the witch's dress. The black dress worn by the Beatrice in the portrait. Change into this. This is... It's something you once wore. I've never worn a dress like this. However, I understood what Genji meant. This dress was one that Beatrice once wore. And the one who displays a miracle by solving the epitaph is Beatrice. By reaching this room, I succeeded the position of the real Beatrice. The one in the portrait. Why do I call myself Beatrice? Because the name of the Golden Witch who rules over Rokkenjima's night is Beatrice. That's right. I wasn't the real Beatrice. I was a different witch, stealing the name of the witch from Kinzo's delusions. And now I have succeeded the real Beatrice. By solving the epitaph's riddle, my resurrection will be complete. I was the one who decided on that rule. However, this really was a ceremony to resurrect Beatrice. In the past, I believed that I could create my own fate with my magic. How ironic that the one who could control magic at will would be guided by fate to this place. At that moment, I had no choice but to truly accept and believe in this word called fate. And after I put this on, you will go to the master. Ready yourself. Wait here. Okay. Whoa. Master, it is Genji. After Genji knocked, the sound of the study's door unlocking could be heard. After a single glance telling me to wait, Genji entered alone. I cannot believe that this day has come. Fate can be such a strange thing. Kumasawa was with us too. I thought this dress, which really didn't suit me, would lead to a lot of jokes, but she didn't laugh at me at all. On the contrary, when she saw me, her expression had turned stern, as though a long-awaited day had finally come. My heart raced. Supposedly, anyone should have been able to solve the epitaph. There shouldn't be anything strange about me solving it. Genji and the others kept wearing serious expressions, and that, along with everything else, made this feel like some sort of grand ceremony. The suffocating silence continued. Eventually, the door opened, and Genji peeked out. Enter. Beatrice-sama. He was saying those words to me, but not to the person I had been until a short while ago. Go ahead, Beatrice-sama. Kumasawa also urged me forward with a respectful bow. Kinzo was probably waiting for me inside. What expression should I wear as I go in? How should I greet him? I don't have a clue. As the two of them motioned me forward, it was all I could do to avoid tripping over my dress as I walked. Kinzo. She's here. Kinzo was crouched on the ground as though kneeling before a portrait of Beatrice. At Nanjo's words, he slowly turned, still crouching. Oh. Kinzo's eyes were already red with crying. When he saw me, he groaned with wonder. Beatrice. He had even forgotten how to stand up. He crawled over to where I was, while calling out to me with the name of the woman he had loved long ago. I was too stunned to move. Kinzo grabbed the hem of my dress, gripping it tightly, then curled up and sobbed. Beatrice, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know how you felt, and yet... I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please, please forgive me. The words weren't directed at me. However, just standing here like this was all I needed to do. Kinzo's moment of atonement, the moment he had spent half of his life searching for, had finally come. A human's life is stained with sin, so humans seek forgiveness while they still live. However, in most cases, the person capable of granting such forgiveness is no longer on this earth. It was like that for Kinzo, too. The one he sought no longer existed in this world. Instead, that forgiveness had been woven together by a miracle, and now Kinzo had received it. You need not forgive me, Beatrice. You need not say anything. I simply need to apologize to you just once. Wow. And honestly, with all things, this is the person he should be apologizing to. Well, her mother, right? He should be able to apologize to her mother, which he can't do, but in a lot of ways, you know, the way Shannon's life has turned out is Kinzo's, because of Kinzo's sin as well. And so, you know, this forgiveness, this begging for forgiveness is certainly warranted. The sins of a human are not forgiven from without. Forgiveness is found through regret and repentance. I want to believe that some sin, some fault of his, has been forgiven thanks to the way I look. Kinzo's sobbing gradually ceased, and he slowly looked up at me and rose. He looked unsteady. Nanjo rushed forward to support him. So, I see that you are alive. I'm glad. This time these words weren't directed through me, but at me. I hesitated, unsure how I should respond. I beg your forgiveness for keeping this a secret from you all this time. No matter. I do not fault you, Genji. Considering the sin that I committed, every single day until now has been necessary for my atonement. However, there can be no doubt that today's miracle is a true one. By her own power, without anyone's help, she solved the epitaph before anyone else. Well done, solving such a difficult epitaph. Thank you. Indeed, your voice resembles your mother's. Even your face reminds me of that mother and daughter. There can be no doubt that Beatrice's blood flows through your veins. Yes, the traces of the Lady of Kuidorian in her youth are right there. Does my face look like someone else's? Beatrice, please forgive me for keeping this a secret, even from you. Your parents are Beatrice and the Master. Huh? It's true. Until now, you have been raised as a child without parents. However, your true father is the master, and your true mother is Beatrice-sama. Is that really? Yes, you truly are a descendant of Beatrice. It's such a strange fate, really possible? I've dreamed about it. Dreamed about what I'd be like to have the Golden Witch it'd be like to be the Golden Witch Beatrice. But that dream had been mine all along. I dreamed that if I solved the epitaph and carried out its ceremony, I would revive as the true Beatrice. So it's okay to believe that since I've solved it, Beatrice has revived? I truly carry Beatrice's blood? Yes. There's no doubt of that whatsoever. It must have been really hard for you to live until this day without knowing a parent's affection. And yet, look at how wonderfully you've grown. So you all knew? About me? Genji, Kumasawa, and even Nanjo nodded wordlessly. Now that I think about it, there might have been lots of hints. I've always felt as though there was something special about me. Genji, and especially Kumasawa, always treated me very kindly. Then does that mean this day is a promised day, which would eventually have come no matter what? I don't understand anything anymore. It's all a miracle from God. A promised fate that has led me to this day. Beatrice. No. Leon. That is the name I wanted to give you. Is that it is your true name. Leon. I will now return everything that Beatrice gave me. I return to you that gold, as well as everything of the Ushiromiya family, which was created by it. Kinzo stuck out a hand that looked like a rotting tree. On his finger was a ring with the one-winged eagle crest, the symbol of the Ushiromiya family head. He pulled it off, grasped it tightly, and held it out to me. I didn't know what to do. Slowly, as though they were being drawn forward, I held out my hands, palms up. After pressing his fists against my cupped hands, Kinzo slowly opened his hands and let the ring drop. Leon, my child, all the ways your fate has been toyed with until today were caused by my sins. Please forgive me. You will now inherit my ring. You are the new Ushiromiya family head. All of that gold belongs to you. I ask that you use it as you please, and hope that it will be enough to heal some small part of the pain you have suffered. That trifling amount of gold may be nothing in comparison with the sin I committed, but even so, it should be enough to bring you some comfort. Thank you. Leon, I have one final request. What is it? Could you call me... I'm sorry, what did you say? Could you call me father? Aw. I understand why you are not able to. I have not been a father to you in any way. Furthermore, you have been raised without knowing anything about a father. I realize that it's not a name you can call me by, and I realize that I have no right to ask this of you. With this in mind, please, if I could just hear that, I would have no further regrets. After being asked like that, could I possibly have refused? Even if I am his child, I truly cannot acknowledge him as my father, so it felt very strange to say it, and yet I decided that saying it was the right thing to do. Only God can truly forgive sins. But, though it may be temporary, people can be saved by the forgiveness of others. Yes. Father. That awkward word made Kinzo laugh. Drops of silver fell from both of his eyes. At that moment, the shadow that had covered his face was wiped away. Thank you, Leon, my child, and Beatrice as well. Thank you for this last chance to ask for forgiveness. Of course, I don't believe that I have been forgiven by this alone. I shall atone for the rest, as I burn in the fires of hell. I, Ushiromiya Kinzo, have no more regrets in this life. None at all. No regrets or matters left unfinished. What a god. Looking up at the heavens, Kinzo spread his arms as though facing an applauding audience, laughing at the top of his lungs. It was the final pleasure known only by those who have been released from all regrets of this world. Kinzo's laugh weakened, and then it disappeared. He dropped to his knees, like a puppet with its strings cut, and slowly fell to the ground.
Oh, Oyakata-sama.
Master. Nanjo. Yes. This is where he died. Though their master had fallen, they walked up to him slowly. They already knew. Kinzo's soul had already burned itself out. After checking Kinzo's pulse, Nanjo shook his head and stood back up. It was a peaceful death. I don't think he had any regrets at all. It may be that the master died long before now. It was only his magic and tenacity that kept him here so long. And he finally had a chance to apologize to Beatrice for everything and finished everything he had to do. Please rest in peace. I believe that you have redeemed yourself. Father, that was the one-night reunion between me and my father, and also our final farewell. Wow. That's so well constructed. Now, so she's had the gold for like 2 years now. And she started dating George? This gold belongs to you now. If you wish to exchange it for money, I can arrange for that. I hear it's worth 20 billion yen. From here on, any of your dreams in this world can be granted with money. It must be tough to think of what to do with this much money when it suddenly comes your way. And then she sent it to all of the relatives and descendants of the servants that she grew up with. Her whole family. Kumasawa and her kin, Nanjo and her kid. That's what she did with the money. She redistributed it back through everybody that raised her. Aww. There's nothing I desire among the things money can buy, so for the present, I would like to leave this here. Of course, I'm glad I have a lot of money. However, money can't heal the pain in my heart. I just want him to come back. As you wish. Then it shall be left here. Also, take this key. What is this? It's a key to the underground VIP room. If you use this, you won't need to use that entrance contraption. He was the only one who knew the answer to the epitaph's riddle, and the only key this place was now hers. At this point, she truly was the master of this golden VIP room. You are already the master of Rokkenjima. You have the right to know all of this island's secrets. We shall talk about Kuadorian too. That's the mansion your mother lived in. I'm sure you've heard rumors about it. Kuadorian. There are 2 mansions on this island, one at either end. One is the mansion we know well. The other is a hidden mansion known as Kuadorian. Below this island are the remains of a military base built during the war. The master used that to travel between the 2 ends of the island. There's an underground path to the back of this room, and if you follow it, you will reach the basement of Kuadorian on the other end of the island. That is a secret mansion, which only the master knew of. Of course, that mansion also now belongs to the new head. It's the mansion your mother lived in. It will probably be worth taking a trip over there sometime. My mother. I've lived alone my whole life. The only person I've ever felt like calling mother is Kumasawa, who's always helped me out. There's a mansion where a mother I've never met nor seen lived? Who exactly am I? Ask any questions you wish. You now deserve to know everything. Right now, I'm feeling very confused. I don't even know where I should start asking questions, but I'm sure I'll think of plenty of things to ask about. When I do, please tell me. As you wish. Also, being treated so respectfully like that is a bit uncomfortable. I'd be happier if you could talk to me the same way you've always done. If that is what you wish, then I will do so. That's easier for me too. Well now, what will we do now, Genji? Kinzo's dead. I will tell Kraus and Madam that he has passed away. Then we must tell them that Leon is the official successor to the headship. After all, from this point forth, you are the Ushiromiya family head. Me as the head? That's... And isn't Kraus the successor? The one who solves the epitaph's riddle is the successor. There exists a will specifying this much. The Master's final order was that you were to inherit everything. Please wait. I appreciate the sentiment, but I can't do the job of being the successor, and I can't accept such a big responsibility. I think it would be better for Kraus to inherit that role. Are you certain? Today, I have learned who I am. Everyone knows about their parents, but I didn't, since the time of my birth. And here today I finally learned the truth. That alone is enough for me. If I suddenly became the Ushiromiya family head, how would Kraus react? How angry would Madam be? I don't want to become the head if it means making them feel like that. Today I learned who I am, who gave birth to me, how and when. These are things I want to learn from them as time goes by. That alone is enough. I am Leon, and I am the Golden Witch Beatrice. Knowing that is enough for me. I do not plan on calling myself the head. Kraus can take that job. Is that your order, as the Ushiromiya family head? Yes. As you wish, Master. Then I will make it so. And please, don't tell anyone about what happened tonight. I want to stay me. There's nothing I'd want to do with the Ushiromiya headship or the gold. I want to wait here on this island, as I have done in the past. I want everything to be exactly the same as it was. That's my only wish. As you wish, Master. Everything that's been happened tonight will not go beyond those present here. Kumasawa, Nanjo, that is the wish of the new head. If that's what you want, I have no objections. Kinzo's will entrusted everything to you. If this is what you want to do, then none of us will complain. You say exactly the same as it was, but do you really mean exactly the same? With no differences at all? Yes. We'll keep this a secret. This place and the gold will be sealed away. If I need money, I'll ask you about it then. That's enough for me. As you wish. The device leading to this place and the key both belong to you. And all of us swear to keep the events of this night a secret. Kraus will be the successor, but in my heart, you will be the only true successor. As you have ordered, we will behave the same way we always have, but please order us whenever it suits you. You are my only master. Thank you very much. A vast mountain of gold and the ring of the Ushiromiya family head, the dress of the portrait Beatrice, and I became the true Beatrice, the Golden Witch, right here in my very own golden land. If I think about it, not much has actually changed. After all, I've always been the Golden Witch. I've just had a few more people acknowledge that. Huh. November 29th, the day I became a true witch. Oh, I am one yet many. I am the Golden Witch Beatrice, the true ruler of Rokkenjima and the possessor of endless gold. And yet, I am in no way complete. I await the return of the one person I love. So, this. Shannon wants nothing more than for Battler to return. Right? Now she has infinite resource, effectively. So, what if instead of actually killing everybody on Rokkenjima, she orchestrated the greatest murder mystery of all time to entice Battler back? Now, there would have had to have been more to it, right? Like, Angie died and Battler returned to the family. That is a little sus. I don't think Shannon would have ordered Angie to be killed to burn this. But we know she could have Genji, Kumasawa, Nanjo, and by extension Goda probably do anything that she wanted them to do. She probably could even have Kraus and Natsuhi do what she wanted them to do. So she certainly has the means to orchestrate a fake murder of the entire Ushiromiya family, and we could be back on the nobody really died, everybody hid in Kuadorian. Ava went out to the public and everyone went to live their own lives with the gold and split it up as a possibility. But yeah, I don't know. We got one more chapter. I'm going to use the bathroom really quick. I'm going to run a 2-minute ad break. And this is only like 30 minutes, and then we'll finish up. So I will be right back. I'm back. 20 seconds of apps. I'm gonna try to post that YouTube video tonight too of the deck that I got the top 8 with at the regional. Hopefully the content looks okay. I don't know. I didn't rush it, but like I just winged it. But I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. And I want people to see the deck because I think it's a really cool deck. Okay, we're back. We're not back. 4 seconds. Okay, we're back. Let us get it. That is the end of my tale. Oh, is that all? But aren't the next 2 years pretty fun? We don't need them. After all, we've heard in the past games about your inner conflict and how you suffered. You don't need to say any more. You mean the conflict of the furniture with incomplete souls? There was a duel. The result had almost been decided. However, the year 1986 was incredibly merciless. I'll bet you cursed your fate. Yes. If it had been 1 year sooner, or else 1 year later, the duel would have been settled, but the way it got settled would have been different. Silently, Claire hung her head. If only I had been given time, or else if I hadn't been given time to worry. Hate everything. Why did it have to be 1986? I decided to abandon control over everything. Whoa. Killer track incoming? Abandon control? Like the ceremony in which I inherited everything from the previous head, I decided to abandon myself to the fate known as a miracle. It may be more accurate to say that I abandoned myself to the choice of the roulette. We could not even decide our own fate, so we let fate decide everything for us. Perhaps one of us will find what they seek, or perhaps all will be joined and released, or perhaps someone will put a stop to this folly. No matter which fate the roulette chose, I plan to obey its ruling. I will not resist fate. After all, whenever I have tried in the past, fate has always been heartless to me. Claire hung her head and let a single tear drop down. Humans will carelessly say that people possess infinite possibilities. However, the Endless Witch knows how limited those possibilities really are. So out of her limited faith, she tried to create the infinite. By entrusting her fate to God, she tried to create the infinite. However, this does not mean that she was resigned to her fate. She spun the roulette of fate with an unshakable and certain will. A certain fate where absolutely no one could escape if the epitaph was not solved. She sealed off the island with it, herself included. October 4th and 5th, 1986, were sealed away by an absolute and certain will. And she abandoned herself to that short span of time that the one fate out of many that would be chosen on that island. And now my confession is over. Isn't that enough to place my motive for the crime? If you still do not know, I will say no more. It's not as though anyone could understand my heart anyways. Yeah, there's no need to say any more. Leon, after watching how I've wandered through a dead end of fate, do you see how great a hope you are to me? I'm a different possible you. The happiness you live in makes me jealous, but even more overwhelmed with happiness. The future you represent was a possible one. Right now, that fact alone is my salvation. Please, live with enough happiness for the both of us. I'm glad I got to meet you once, at the end. You have my thanks, Lady Berncastel. I'm just carrying out your funeral. There's no need to thank me. Well, it's about time to end this. It's about time to send the dead to the land of the dead. Yes, this is my funeral after all. It's time for me to go back to where I belong. Don't make that face. And please, rejoice that you were not me. After all, I rejoice in the fact as well. I'll live life for the both of us. Thank you. Live in happiness, and someday find yourself a wonderful person. I pray that you live as a human, without awakening as a witch. That you have a whole and single soul, and love one person with all your strength. I hope you live that sort of life. I will. Will, I thank you for being an observer. You aren't the one I truly wanted to understand me, but you have saved my heart. I understand you. I do not neglect your heart. Thank you. So now that I have a splendid observer who understands me, I want to entrust my final moments to you. Are you sure you're okay with it being me? Yes. For me, the important thing is whether the person understands me, not how well I know them. The one I wanted to understand didn't. A person I didn't know did understand. There's nothing sad about it. On the contrary, I'm grateful for this miracle. A person was able to understand, even though he has no relation to me. You are a good observer, and the only one who has managed to understand me. That connection is strong enough. Understood. I offer my heart to you, nameless and wonderful observer. How's he gonna be Battler, dude? How is he gonna be Battler? Leon, stand back. What's gonna happen? In the mystery genre, there could be no death unless the detective performs the last rites. Will just stopping your heart be enough? When you mourn the dearly departed, do you put just their heart in the coffin? I got it. That which was born from earth will return to earth. I'll return all of you to the earth. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Illusions to illusions, and dreams to dreams. Right. Then let us begin. This is my burial. Whenever you're ready. Let's go. It's almost like the end of my last game. Light gathered at Will's back, and a sword materialized there. Slowly, he drew it out. Its pitch-black tip, which could neatly slice apart truth from fiction, swung once, leaving a black trail, and then again leaving a white trail. I'll cut the truth out from the fiction. Come. Whoa. Following Will's lead, a similar sword appeared in Claire's hand. The tip glinted silver, the opposite of Will's. First game. First Twilight. Oh! 6 corpses in the gardening shed. Illusions to illusions. Okay, so let's play along. In this one, Shannon's body wasn't... Or Shannon shed her Shannon persona here. The corpse that cannot return to Earth returns to illusions. Will's pitch black slash cut across Claire's body in an angle. The blade passed through her like she was water, but the tip sent golden flower petals scattering. First game, second Twilight. 2 corpses are close in a closed room protected by a chain. Illusions to illusions. A chain of illusions can only trap illusions. I don't know, he's just talking nonsense. I don't know. We're not playing a game here. This is just a slaughter. The razor-thin black blur sent golden flower petals scattering again. First game, fourth Twilight. The old head from the closed room study, confined in a scorching furnace. Illusions to illusions. Let the man of illusions go to where he belongs. Fifth Twilight. The last moments of the sacrificed boy with a stake in his chest. Illusions to illusions. The witch and the stake of illusions can pierce naught but illusions. So he's saying it was all smoke and mirrors. 6th, 7th, 8th Twilights. 3 corpses lying in the closed room and the singing girl. Illusions to illusions. Illusions are the blind girl's song. Illusion of a closed room. Well done. Yes, you really are splendid. That was a risky game from the very start. What if the guy really wanted to see that dead face anyways and just stepped inside? That's what it means to abandon oneself to fate. That's what your roulette is, isn't it? Let us continue. Second game, first Twilight. The 6 with their stomachs split in the closed room chapel. Illusions to illusions. The gold truth locks the lock of illusions. I don't know what they're talking about. The 2 who are close cannot even be close as corpses. Illusions to illusions. Illusions who have fulfilled their role do not leave even a corpse behind. Nazi's closed room, none are left alive. Earth to earth. No one would dispute that a coffin is a closed room. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, dude. The 2 sliced to death by the red-eyed illusion. Earth to earth, illusions to illusions. No illusion can create a corpse. Every time the blade passed through Claire's body, golden flower petals flew everywhere. The petals covering her heart was being torn away bit by bit. The illusion of the witch was breaking down and becoming flower petals. Third game, first twilight. 6 corpses connected by the linked closed rooms. They're kind of giving hints at the how done it for every twilight. Yeah, I mean, kind of, right? Like, right, if we go back, like... Like, the witch and the stake of illusions compare not but illusions. So, like, we know canon is, like, not exactly... Yeah, of course it's all metaphor, dude. Like, no, he's literally saying that... Like, I get it. I'm not an airhead. Like, I get it. I just don't think I can glean terribly much from this. Right? Like, no illusion can create a corpse. So, these people didn't actually... I don't remember who died in the 7th and 8th Twilight, right? But, like, in a closed room ring, the end and the beginning overlap. Third game, second Twilight. The corpse of mother and child lay together in the rose garden. Earth to earth. No falsehoods in their final moments as told. So they actually died that way. Third game, 4th, 5th, and 6th Twilights. 3 corpses laying in the mansion. Earth to earth. No falsehoods in the... Yeah, so when he says illusion to illusion, he's saying there was some trickery there. When he says earth to earth, he's saying, yes, that is in fact how it happens. The corpses of husband and wife lay exposed under the arbor. Earth to earth. The obvious culprit wields a mutable blade. Hold on. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, I might go read it back too, but can I not go back that far? Yeah, you can go to the first game. Second game, first Twilight. Oh no, they're in the second game. I wanted to see first game, second Twilight, the Ava and Hideyoshi one, what he said, but... Oh, is that it was an illusion of a chain can only block illusions or something like that. So it wasn't really chain locked per se. Earth to earth, the obvious culprit wields a mutable blade. Third game, 7th and 8th Twilights. The corpses of husband and wife lay exposed under the arbor. Fourth game, first Twilight. A massacring storm sweeps through the dining hall. Illusions to illusions. Tales woven by the gold truth return to illusions. Fourth game, second Twilight. The 2 youths face a trial and pass away together. Illusions to illusions. Tales woven by the golden truth return to illusions. He's a very powerful detective. Fourth game, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th Twilights. None of the runaways are left alive. Earth to earth, illusions to illusions. Silent corpses adorned by fiction. Fourth game, 9th Twilight, and none shall be left alive. Earth to earth, illusions to illusions. When fiction is shut up inside a cat box, it becomes truth. Ah, yeah. Over and over again, Claire's body was sliced by the pitch-black sword. As proof, the chapel was now filled with golden flower petals, which danced around like gold snow. Beautiful. Who wouldn't want their last moments to be like that? The gold snow was like confetti at the finale of a show. The curtains were finally falling on the stage that was her. Then, one final question. Sure. Claire slowly raised her hands. The sword she held became a golden rose petals and melted away. She stood there, arms wide, waiting for the final strike. Who am I? Illusions to illusions. The promised reaper lowers the curtain on the tale regardless of the witch's will. Promised reaper lowers the curtains on the tale regardless of the witch's will. The pitchback blade that Will swung high cut down Claire's form. the same time, she was blown away by a gust of wind. Her human form crumpled in an instant, became a storm of golden flower petals, and was torn apart. After she was blown away, a golden heart remained in midair. But that, too, was swallowed by a torrent of wind and broke down into flower petals. The gold torrent of wind swirled around the chapel. Then the swirl of petals scattered out of existence and vanished. The few remaining petals danced around like snowflakes, and those final vestiges decorated the chapel beautifully. A beam of light lit the center of the stage. There stood Claire, whose tale had ended. Then slowly, softly, she faced the audience and bowed. Beautiful ending. Applause spread throughout the room. The long tale she had just finished telling was being given a massive applause. It went on and on, and on and on. The stage slowly sunk into the darkness of oblivion. Beyond the darkness and the curtain, Claire continued to bow in front of the unending applause and disappeared. People are born with sin and live life to obtain forgiveness from someone. Or perhaps they are born with riddles and live life searching for someone to solve them. Here, all of her riddles had been solved, leaving no lingering regrets behind. People are riddles. They want someone else to solve their riddle. They live life wanting someone to solve their riddle that they are, the most difficult riddle in the world. They want someone to look at the riddle they are, and they want that person to solve it. For her, that wish had been granted. Her soul will wander no longer. Sleep in endless peace in your catbox coffin. Though there had been so many golden flower petals flitting about like a blizzard, not a single one remained. Everything had become dust, vanishing, as though there had been nothing there in the first place, and it was all silent once more. Come to think of it, even the sound of rain is gone. The rain must have stopped at some point. Meeting you was her salvation. I hope so. She cursed herself and her inescape, dead-end fate, and gave up. Meeting you, a happy miracle in her eyes, saved her the way nothing else could. So, don't make that face. That was a pretty tasteful ending. For you. Owl only told me to carry out the funeral. Well, I pretty much just called a facilitator, you, and let you do everything. Thank you, Will. And in Claire's place, I wanted to thank you. Thanks for cutting off all the lingering regrets of a me of a different fate. I thought I'd see a bit more head clutching and panic from you. No, I understand now. I realize how happy my life has been. If fate had toyed with me, and if living in another world, I might have gotten stuck in that same dead-end fate. However, thanks to an extremely improbable bit of good luck, I live in this world. I now know how much that means, how much it's worth. What's up? Why the surprised look? I thought decent witches didn't exist, but I might have to change that theory. Don't worry. No need to change it. I only joined that kid's game to kill some time. And though I lost, I enjoyed playing. That kid died without folding up her game board. I just took charge of cleaning up, as a thanks for letting me play, and because it's the loser's duty. I was sure you'd be a lot crueler than this. Crueler? I thought this is a cruel game that neglects the heart. Yeah, it was a cruel game, though she claimed that the game was fantasy. I've brought you along and made it end as a mystery. The illusion of the witch has been spectacularly crushed, and my little bit of revenge is complete. This tale of intertwined loves ends thanks to an absolute and certain willpower. Out of respect for that certain willpower, the Witch of Certainty made that kid a witch for just 2 days. Even within this limited span of 2 days, I've been able to enjoy an endless kaleidoscope. I won't be bestowing my favor, so no miracle will occur. However, even this ending is something that a child wished for. I wonder which truth actually lay at the end of this endless tale. Who knows? Not being able to say that for sure is what makes it a cat box. When you open the box, you get a tale where no trace of the mansion remains, and no one except Ava survives. Now that Ava has died without saying anything, all the truth is inside the cat box. Endless possibilities, all kept within a limited box. Now that I think about it, maybe that whole island where she lived and died was the Golden Land. If you can call a cat box a Golden Land, that is. By the way, Valor has written up the most fun tale imaginable of the inside of the cat box. You read that book in Beatrice's coffin? That's right. It's the happiest possible tale for her, which he thought up himself. It was a really fun, love-filled, happy tale. I also think that tale was the most fitting one to put in her coffin. No, that's wrong. Huh? You heard Claire. You are her hope and her salvation. More than anything else, you living on in happiness will be her salvation. Right. Live happily. That's all you need to do to be that kid's miracle. Yes. I'll live happily enough for both of us. I'm surprised you found this kid. Didn't you have to search through about 200,000 of them in the vast sea? Such trivialities are all I am capable of. And now the funeral is over. As promised, I've released the barrier. Once you leave, time will start moving again like normal. So you're done with us now? If I don't go back quickly, Diana will start scratching the curtains. We weren't together long, but thank you for your help. So long. Be happy, for the sake of the hundreds of thousands of other yous. And I left the chapel, a beautiful after-rain sky stretched out above him. Or when he left the chapel. That sky, which was a mix of rain clouds, gaps, and sunlight, and the tint of twilight, had a beauty to it that couldn't be described in words. Will slowly descended the stone stairs, stepping through puddles. Then he waved without looking back and left the chapel behind. Form and footprints gradually faded away until there was no trace left. Okay, time for me to disappear too. Goodbye, Leon. I have you to thank as well. I believe I had I said some fairly inconsiderate things to you. You have my apologies. You taught me something very important. What is it? No, it's nothing. It's been a century since anyone's thanked me, so I just wasn't sure how to respond. Baron Castell shrugged, then floated up into thin air. Then she looked up at the beautiful 7 colors of light shining in through the stained glass, and spoke as though someone was looking down on her from there. Aurora, was that enough of an answer check for you? If you still don't get it, why not gather the other observer witches and have a tea party or something? Then you can listen to their theories. I'm so mean. Oh, excuse me. I'm mean, so I won't go any further than this. There are no witches who don't think. After all, witches who don't think either die or turn to seaweed. So, now you can look back and have a drink, while seeing how much of your theory was right. I'm tired of playing the part of the bad guy and being a Miko. You're done with me now. Bye, Leon. And bye to you too, observer witches. That's us. Baron Castell burst and disappeared. A single golden flower petal glittered. Leon picked it up. It was the only trace of a miracle that remained in this chapel. At that time, cheery voices could suddenly be heard. It was the relatives. They came out of the waiting room one by one. So this is where you were, Leon. I was looking for you. Mom, my apologies. I was just thinking about something. Looks like the rain's finally stopped. Finally, some good weather. Everyone, let us return to the mansion. I have been told that Beatrice's funeral is over. Dad, where's the head? He'll be here in a sec. Today was pretty crazy. And playing along with Dad's little funeral show was a real pain. You shouldn't say that. It was a very important ceremony. That's right. I think it was very important for Father. I'm starving. Goda, think you could cook something up for us? Yes, ma'am. I'll prepare some tea at once. Where's Leon? Lend me a hand. Our family head, there you are. As Kinzo came out after the others, Leon ran up to him. You did very well today. Beatrice's funeral is now complete. Yes, and I'm sure that Beatrice's soul was saved. How could you know that? I was with her until a second ago, and I saw her leave her journey with no regrets. That's how I know. I guarantee it. I see. If you say it, then it must be so. The relatives left the chapel one by one. Leon left too, giving Kinzo a shoulder to lean on. A beam of sunlight peeked through the clouds, looking like a staircase leading up to heaven. Whoa. For once, it wasn't an ending where it just screams at you and starts rolling credits. But I know the tea party is long, and I'm sure there's a lot to it. So, that'll be for tomorrow. No murders either. Yeah. No murders either. So we got a tea party to go to tomorrow. That'll be about 8 p.m. probably. Well, I'll tweet about it in the morning. I think that's about it as far as news today. I'm gonna stay up a little longer, try to do this video, post on YouTube. The Grand Archive deck tech, so should be cool. I'm probably just gonna hop off for tonight. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. Live again tomorrow. You know the deal. Be good to one another in the meantime. Make good choices, and I will see you tomorrow.